million in purses. In total, 8 Grand Circuit Stakes races will be contested tonight, including the Cedars Trotting Classic and the Pacing Derby. Trotting Classic, a couple of horses who've traded punches this year, and It's Academic and Venerate, a couple of millionaires in that Pacing Derby, 2 world champions, including last year's Little Brown Jug winner in By the Missile. Greg Wolf alongside Paul Verderosa. Exciting night of action still ahead, and the best yet to come.
Yeah, it's a great night of Grand Circuit action. A lot of racing, a lot of money on the line tonight, a lot of stakes action, and some will say that it is a preview night for the Breeders' Crown, which will be taking place at Hoosier Park at the end of October.
Take a look at what's ahead. In addition to Hoosier Park action, we also have Charlestown out in West Virginia, and that 2-year-old stake, the Rachel's Turn, going to be their feature tonight. Fast Track out in West Virginia. Races 8 through 13 still to come on this big night of action, part of their championship meet, which of course is going to culminate with that Breeders' Crown championship races in late October on the 27th and 28th. We're going to hear some big names in action tonight, including the big one, the main event, the 6th edition of that Caesars Trotting Classic, race 13. Venerate, It's Academic. They've traded punches this year so far.
Yeah, a lot of blows between them, and you can't forget about a horse like Pretender, who last week showed everybody that he's still got some muscle in the tank. And I like a little price in here, the number 2, Kildare King.
All right, we'll talk much more about it right now. We're going to go live to Anderson, Indiana. Check in for more with Gabe Pruitt and Jessica Auden.
Thanks so much, guys. It's a beautiful night here in Anderson, Indiana. It's good to be back in the Midwest again. We were a busy day yesterday at the Jug. And, of course, we've got plenty of more action coming up on the card tonight, including that Caesars Trotting Classic.
Yeah, that's a headliner. We're about 40 miles northeast of Indianapolis here in Anderson, Indiana. And what a beautiful night, as you said, Jess. This is a first-class facility at Hoosier Park, one of the nicest tracks in North America, for that matter. But that Caesars Trotting Classic, $210,000 on the line tonight. It is going to be a headliner there, race 13 on this Power Pack card, and It's Academic. That's the headliner, Jess.
Yeah.
This horse is $1,700 shy of $2 million in career earnings. He's just a 6-year-old. 7 of 12 at his career. So he is a deserving favorite in that Caesars Trotting Classic. We've got a lot of action up first. We've got the 8th race in the card coming up next. That's the Carl Becker Memorial. In this race right here, we've got a field of 10, or I should say a field of 11. Good blockbuster overflow type field.
It is an overflow type field. And going back just real quick to It's Academic, what a breakthrough year he's having. Last year he was knocking on the door multiple starts in a row. This year he's punching through and he's facing the best of the best. And I really do think he's the cream of the crop this year. Back to race 8. It is an overflow field of 11. A few different ways I feel like you can go in here. We kind of both have the same numbers, just shuffled up a bit. You landed on the 5 Western Era. Irv Miller, Atlee Bender in the bike. He's having a really good year in the bike, especially behind those Irv Miller trainees. He's coming off of a 6th place finish in the free-for-all here at Hoosier Park.
Yeah, he is. Post 5 here, Jess. The most high percentage post at Hoosier Park. The most strike rate, very successful. He was just buried last time out. He's against much more difficult company. This is more his speed. He draws a mid-pack post where he can obviously lead the gate or come from off the pace. So I think he's got plenty of options here. And we're about to take a look at the 8th race of the night. Again, an overflow field of 11. And for our first live race here tonight, we'll send it upstairs to track announcer Michael Chamberlain.
Here they come. They are up. Captain Sleaze up for the lead. Western Era is next. And then at the inside, Shady Jake. McThriller is 4th. 5th is Rocky Got Framed, followed by Topville Rockin' Luck. Then True Blue Lindy. Down on the inside, Major Attribute. As the field goes on to that first turn, Sirius Mickey races next, and then it's Captain This, and Madeline's Blackjack is the trailer. The opening quarter is up in 27 seconds. They move on to the back stretch, and Western Era and Atlee Bender in Frontier by a length. Second is Captain Sleaze, and Shady Jake races 3rd. Next is Rocky Got Framed with McThriller 5th. 6th is Topville Rockin' Luck, a length and a half, True Blue Lindy. Up on the outside is Sirius Mickey, then Major Attribute. Next is Captain This, and Madeline's Blackjack is the trailer. Half mile 55 and 2, second quarter 28 and 2. To the second turn, Western Era by a length. Captain Sleaze is second. Here comes Rocky Got Framed, first over on the outside. And Rocky Got Framed is now threatening the leader as they move on the second turn. McThriller is there second over. Down on the inside comes Shady Jake. Next are Topville Rockin' Luck and True Blue Lindy. Head of the stretch, headed for home. 3/4, 124 and 1. It's Western Era still in front. Captain Sleaze to the inside. Rocky Got Framed. McThriller on the outside. Shady Jake on the inside. Western Era still in front with an 1/8 of a mile to come. Captain Sleaze has an alley down on the inside. So does Shady Jake, who's coming on. Western Era. Captain Sleaze surging now, and Captain Sleaze is taken over, and Captain Sleaze wins. Western Era second. Third, Shady Jake, and then Rocky Got Framed in 151.
Captain Sleaze up the inside here, the first win since early August for this 5-year-old.
Yeah, and actually ran very well in here, all things considered, because Western Era did what he did 2 races back at Hawthorne. He went right to the front, and he took command of this race, and down the stretch, he was getting a little leg weary here, which opened up the door for Mike Osting. And Captain Sleaze, who actually didn't run that bad last time out, came running into a hot pace. This time the pace was a little slower. Parlayed it into a win anyway.
Yeah, had a big late surge, just came up short last time he was seen. This time able to seal the deal and finish things. Here's the second choice on the board at 2-1, 8-5 favorite, defeated Western Era. It's Captain Sleaze picking up the 13th win in his 5-year-old career at our first live action of the night on our FS2 coverage from Anderson, Indiana. We're going to take a time out. We'll be back with the prices from this Carl Becker Memorial. And a lot more still to come. Kentuckiana Stallion Management, 2-year-old filly Mile Pace is next when we return on our coverage from Hoosier Park on Caesars Trotting Classic Night. Stay with us.
Ever dream of owning your own racehorse? How would you like to get in the winner's circle with the #1 harness racing partnership in the U.S.? VIP Stable. There's nothing like the thrill of your horse coming down the stretch. To find out more, call VIP Stable at 877-VIP-WIN1 or visit us on the web at www.vipstable.com. Turning horse racing fans into racehorse owners. Be a winner.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
There's a big, bold, beautiful world waiting to be explored by you and your friends, of course. But not just any friends, the best of friends. The kind of friends who let you do you. Because in this world, it's positive vibes only. And when you get in the zone here, you stay a while. These aren't just good times, they're the best of times. And your time is now. So come explore. Resorts World.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Danzig was with Woody Stevens special that he called Seth one day after he was 3 for 3 and was fast and had a problem and looked like he was going to have to retire him and said, "You need to stand this horse." And he talked him into doing it, and he turned out to be one of the premier stallions of his time.
Danzig's one of the legends of Claiborne, and his influence is far and wide throughout the thoroughbred gene pool today. And you'll look through and see a great influence of Danzig, and we're just trying to keep it going here at Claiborne with Silver State, War of Will, and Warfront. So we feel like we're in a great position, especially with War of Will and Silver State, to keep it going. We love War of Will's foals. Like I said, Silver State has a great book of mares, and he's going to have a really big chance of continuing that legacy.
the Danzig line 10 years ago, 15 years ago, people weren't sure what it was going to do. And it's still continuing on with Hard Spun and Warfront, who now the sons of Warfront are looking like they could be really okay on a number of fronts. So that was one of the reasons for War of Will, plus the fact he won a classic on the dirt with the Preakness, and then come back and win a Grade 1 on the dirt or on the turf at a mile. So he's a big, pretty horse. He's gotten well supported. Mr. Barber's bred a lot of very, very nice mares to him, and the offspring are good so far.
Back with you on our FS2 coverage of Caesars Trotting Classic Night out in Anderson, Indiana. It's brought to you in part by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. We head to Charlestown. Race 5 is going to start a late pick 4 on their card. 7/8 of a mile and a state-bred allowance race coming up as we look at Change the World, contender from that inside post.
Yeah, 1 of 4 that come out of the most recent state-bred stakes race that they ran. It was a race that completely collapsed in there. He came running late to be 4th.
It's the 8-time winner, Jamestown Road.
Kind of been struggling the last couple of starts, beating double-digit lengths in here. Kind of been on the chase, too, the last few starts. Looks to be in the same spot tonight.
Full Moon Lover, the 3 just went by, and then here's the 5 Lucky Blonde, who has been first or second at 7 of 15 starts.
Yeah, won that state-bred stakes race that we just talked about before, came charging late with a good late run in there. The race completely fell apart, though it might do the same today with a couple of stretch outs that are speed.
Lucy Lou Who just went by at a tough beginning last time out, got squeezed. Moonlit Shadow, the 7, a big price.
Yeah, went to the lead out in that state-bred stakes race and actually folded up late.
And on the outside, another contender, Seneca Rocks, who had a wide trip last start.
Yeah, ended up really wide around that turn and actually put in a really good run. Only got beaten a length and a quarter in there to Lucky Blonde. So we'll see what happens from another outside draw today.
All right, so that's your field. This starts this pick 4, 7/8 of a mile. West Virginia bred fillies and mares 3 and up in this spot. And for those playing the pick 4, I don't know if you look how much you looked ahead. Obviously, the next race, Cider House Way, looks pretty imposing in race 6.
Yeah, I mean, that horse just missed actually versus winners last time out, and that was the first time running against winners. I really like the maiden win 2 starts back as well. Really came from off the pace that day. Was closer last time out. The pace was a little bit slower, but still looked very professional doing it. Seems to have gotten his act together.
So that's, to come. A horse that looks like with a lot of upside. That was just the 4th start of his career, as you mentioned, first against winners, and was right there late, trying to run down a lone leader in that race. So maybe a key that bettors are going to kind of maybe single in this pick 4 sequence. If that one were to get beat, it could be a very lucrative pick 4.
It'll start to pay, for sure.
Back to Hoosier Park. And in the Carl Becker Memorial Captain Sleaze, Michael Oosting in the bike, $6.40 for the win.
Yeah, looked good, too. Was able to pocket up, drew inside again, kept this horse closer up. And when you really look back, this horse was inverse, tougher in some ways with those outside draws, but tonight got the money and got the job done over a good horse in Western Era.
All right, we'll get to the Kentuckiana Stallion Management 2-year-old fillies mile pace next, but it's back to Charlestown as we await this pick 4 coming up. And it looks like the one, I thought 5, 6, and 8. Obviously a huge scratch with Chromatic Glass coming out. It was probably the horse to beat here.
Yeah, I think with that horse coming out of the race, when she came out, it made things a little bit, I guess, murkier as far as who you wanted to go to. I thought you could have really took a hard look at Chromatic Glass because she could have done it either way from on or off the pace. But I kind of think in some ways the 8 Seneca Rocks, who had the wide trip last time out, is probably the horse you want out of that stakes race. Now, I know the whole race completely collapsed when you look at it. The top 4 finishers came from off the pace. Anybody that attended the pace back there finished 5th or worse in there. So I don't know. I think Seneca Rocks is a horse that even if you go back 2 starts back, that wasn't a bad race, beating a horse in Rock Rose. So we'll see what happens from an outside draw. I mean, it gives Wesley Ho options. The turn does come up kind of quickly. And as we've seen it at Charlestown, sometimes horses just get a little bit tired when they're out there and they're 3 and 4 wide on this bull ring.
Pace-wise, what do you think? The 6 and 7 maybe duke it out on the front end?
I think you're going to see the 6 go out there. He's been out there. Moonlit Shadow has some speed, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the 3 also on the stretch out.
All right, we'll get back to this race coming up. Again, it kicks off this late. Pick 4 from Charlestown. We return to Hoosier Park for this Kentuckiana Stallion Management 2-year-old filly, Mile Pace. That is what's next. And the 7-5 favorite, the 6 Lions Legend. For Jim King Jr., Tim Tetrick will be in the bike.
Yeah, legitimate favorite, too. I mean, that 6-race winning streak came to an end. It was in the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes final last time out. He's had a good trip in there. Rode the pocket. Took it briefly to Geocentric, who is a Pennsylvania and Kentucky champion. You're looking at the 4 now, Cam American. Has been worse than 3rd in 8 career starts while facing New York State Sire Series types, various venues. Nice post. Look to make a run late tonight. I'd like to see some more speed out of her, though, at the end of the miles, for sure.
Can I get a loop-loop? Closed from off the pace, was parked wide to get second last time out.
I'll give you a loop-loop. Give you a little song there for it, but you're right. Made a run last time, came from off the pace, still needs to find more.
Here's Lions Legend, the favorite, and this is one that could be forwardly placed.
Yeah, I like the longer stretch tonight for this horse, too. Geocentric's a good horse that just beat her last time out, Pennsylvania and Kentucky champion.
And she's 6 for 7 lifetime. Jada Caroline, the 7, 30-1.
Yeah, a couple of lengths short when she faced Sire Stakes type, so she'll be better on a drop down.
4 in a row for Direction, who came home in 25-4 last time out, final quarter.
Yeah, that's a crazy quarter, and the track's been souped up down there. You know what? She finds ways to win. She never wins by much. This group's a little tougher. She'll be in the outer flow at some point.
Sea Shanty Hanover, that far outside post for the 9.
Heavy favorite didn't disappoint in the past Constellation 20 days ago. Comes here, but had problems facing the likes of Lions Legend.
And Let's Go End of an Era, going to break from that second tier.
Yeah, it won't hurt her running style because she likes to set up from off the pace.
2 minutes to post in the Kentuckiana Stallion Management for 2-year-old fillies. Let's go to Charlestown. Paul Espinoza Jr., the call.
And they're off. Full Moon Lover breaks out on top and heads directly to the front. Moonlit Shadow moves into challenge now as Full Moon Lover tries to back down the pace, and Moonlit Shadow will have none of that. These two hook up under the wire for the first time. Lucy Liu, who is back in 3rd and Change the World is 4th down at the fence. Seneca Rocks could be caught 3 wide into that turn, and then Lucky Blonde with Jamestown Road as they head into that turn. Up top, it's Full Moon Lover and Moonlit Shadow. Opening quarter in 23-4, so the pace is measured. Full Moon Lover on the stretch out. Moonlit Shadow going much more manageably tonight. Now ahead in front of Full Moon Lover as they head onto the backstretch. Lucy Liu, who at a much better dispatch and moves up deftly into that 3rd spot. Change the World drafting in behind the leading trio from 4th. Then Seneca Rocks, Jamestown Road, and Lucky Blonde held up at the back about 8 lengths off of her stablemate Moonlit Shadow. Opening half in 48-2, so it's been a very even pace thus far. Moonlit Shadow, Full Moon Lover, and now Lucy Liu, who, given her cue, Changed the World. Now 5 lengths behind in 4th. Lucky Blonde is picking her way through the pack. She's made it up into 5th, but still has half a dozen lengths to make up on the leading trio as they head around the turn. Lucy Liu, who, up to collar, Moonlit Shadow and Full Moon Lover battles on at the fence with a furlong left to go. Outside, Lucy Liu, who, a narrow lead, but Moonlit Shadow's up for a fight and battles on with a 16th to go. Moonlit Shadow back in front. Lucy Liu, who outside. Moonlit Shadow, and Larry Reynolds wins his first race in 10 years and does it aboard Moonlit Shadow in front-running fashion. Then Lucy Liu, who, followed by Change the World and Full Moon Lover there in a photo for the Miners.
Moonlit Shadow in a duel early on with Full Moon Lover, and still enough to finish. And how about that return?
Larry Reynolds, first time in 10 years. I remember that name, Maryland Circuit.
We head back to Hoosier Park and the Kentuckiana Stallion Management for 2-year-old fillies. Mile Pace coming up 4-5 now in the 6 Lions Legend. Let's go back to Gabe and Jessica.
Thanks so much. The Grand Circuit continues here at Harris Hoosier Park, and we have a very talented field of fillies here, 2-year-old pacing fillies. Gabe, you and I both go a few different ways. I'm going to let you tell me why you like your top choice. Then I'm going to ask you about my top choice. You went to the 6 Lions Legend, a very sharp filly coming into this race. Just got beat last time out to Geocentric, who we know you know plenty about racing down at Lexington.
Yeah, that's the key here, Jess. Lions Legend was 6 for 6 going into her last start, which is really impressive for 2-year-old filly. She was at a $250,000 stakes event there in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, and she actually finished third. She finished a pretty solid third. But the filly that beat her that day, Geocentric, she is undefeated. I don't think there's any question the best 2-year-old filly in the sport right now. She is in the top 10 poll, actually, which is very, very rare for a 2-year-old filly to be in that poll this time of year. But that's the filly she just lost to. So I'm going to give her an alibi, going to give her a pass on that last start. I think she gets back on track here. Tim Tetrick in the blank here for trainer Jim King Jr. Tim had actually opted off in the last race to drive the winner. He drives Geocentric, so he's back aboard here. He knows the filly very well. But, all of that right now adding up to a short price, 4 to 5.
What do you think about the time coming off into this race? I know she went pretty hard over the summer, but having a few weeks off coming into the race, you think it'll help her or maybe, set her back a few seconds?
Yeah, I think it could help in this case because, she got a little tired at the end of that last race. So maybe she could use a bit of a freshening. One thing about it, Jess, she was a bargain purchase, the favorite here, Lions Legend. She was just a $33,000 yearling purchase last fall. She's already earned well over $186,000. This is a $200,000 race right here tonight, and she's odds on.
The one is getting a little bit of tote action as well. 5-2, Blue Pacific. I was all over this one in the New Jersey Classic final. She delivered at odds of 3-1. They've been so confident in this filly. She just got set back a little bit there because she was sore. She's come back. She was a very good third-place finish in her debut. Left from Post 7 from the Meadowlands after being parked, and then was only beat a neck by Pulp Fiction, who was undefeated at the time. Come back and come from well off of the pace. I mean, I really thought David was in a bad spot coming off the far turn there at the Meadowlands, and he ended up getting up for the win, pacing home at 27-1 and 50-3. She gets the rail in here tonight. They've already teamed up, Joe Holloway and David Miller, for a win so far tonight.
Yeah, and the reason why he thought she was in a tough spot because she was in a terrible spot, I think, in that last race. But she was able to overcome that. She got it for the win. She's lightly raced, Jess. She doesn't have near the seasoning, but you see the fans supporting her up there down 2-1 from Post 1. This is her third career start, and we have seen her better every single time we see her on the track. I expect her to take another step forward here tonight, but she does have a tough target to tackle here with the favorite Lions Legend, but I think deservedly the two favorites heading into the 9th race with the big money on the line.
Gabe goes with Lions Legend. I'm going to go with Blue Pacific. We'll send it back to the guys at the desk.
Jessica, Gabe, thank you. Yeah, Blue Pacific, very intriguing one that Jessica's going with, and you actually missed a lot of time, got sore with some buck shins, which is a little bit more of a thoroughbred injury, and it kind of took her a long time to get back for Hall of Famer Joe Holloway. But as Gabe was telling us, each time we've seen her, we haven't seen her a lot, she's gotten better and better.
Yeah, this is who I like on top, too. They gave her the time to get over the issues that she had, and she stepped her game nicely with that 150-3 score in the Classic final last time out. And I like the way she strided out in the stretch. It showed that she's feeling better. She was on the muscle. She gets the rail tonight. It should be a good matchup with her and Lions Legend.
Kentuckiana, Stallion Management, 2-year-old filly, Mile Pace. Let's go to Michael Chamberlain.
$200,000 Kentuckiana Stallion Management. 4 to 5 on Lions Legend. 5-2 Blue Pacific. Here they come. They are all. And showing well, All JK from the outside. Direction is moving fast. Lulu third, and Blue Pacific is fourth. Moving up now, Lions Legend, but caught a little wide going out of the turn. Let's go End of the Era from the second tier, now to mid-pack. Camerican is right after that. And then following is Can I Get a Loop Loop in 8th. Next in 9th is Jada Caroline, and Sea Shanty Hanover trails the field following a first quarter of 26 2/5. They are on the back stretch, and it is Direction, but Lions Legend is right there on the outside, and Lions Legend sweeps on by to take the lead. Direction is second. Now up into third is Blue Pacific with All JK fourth. Racing fifth is Lulu, and then it's Let's Go End of the Era as they pass the half in 55 seconds. Following then comes Jada Caroline, who has made progress to the inside. Camerican is caught to the outside, moving on to the second turn with Can I Get a Loop Loop, and Sea Shanty Hanover trails the field. Moving on the second turn, Blue Pacific is the leader, Lions Legend second. Direction is third with Let's Go End of the Era moving up on the outside steadily. Next is All JK as they come to the top of the stretch, 3 quarters, 123-2, 28-2, the third quarter. Blue Pacific, Lions Legend, Let's Go End of the Era in behind horses. And then on the outside, here comes Camerican, who's trying to close in. To the inside is Direction staying on. Blue Pacific has the lead by 2. Lions Legend and Direction. It's Blue Pacific in front in deep stretch. Blue Pacific gives David Miller the hat trick tonight. Second was Lions Legend, then Direction and Camerican in 150 and 2.
3 for David Miller, and a lot of upside, it seems like, for Blue Pacific, for Hall of Famer Joe Holloway, who, of course, trained Jenna's Beach Boy, and that's the race we have coming up next.
Yeah, this horse, she looked great. You know what? She came first over into that 55 half. She cleared the top, and she was able to open up down the lane. And your favorite in here, Lions Legend, I think lost the race at the start. Got off the wings a little bit funky, ended up being rushed, then kind of like took back a little bit in the turn not to go so fast, and then was parked to that 26 and 2/4. I don't know. I think still ran really well in here, but I think lost the race at the beginning. But you cannot take nothing away from Blue Pacific. She looks good now.
Well, Gabe, you had brought up each time out. We hadn't seen her a lot, but continues to get better and better, and now another victory for Blue Pacific.
Yes, guys, I want to echo Paul's sentiments. It was a little bit of a rough journey to the lead here for the 6 Lions Legend. She was parked out there for quite a while, but take nothing away from this winner. She did take a giant step forward. She was driven a lot more aggressively tonight, guys, with those couple of starts under her belt. They took the training wheels off, so to speak. Dave Miller zipped back to the lead, and really, it was so impressive how she won. Not only did she win, she was completely wrapped up through the stretch, and what I mean by that, under no urging whatsoever, and she was opening up here of the 6 Lions Legend, who was a filly that's 6 for 7. So it's a very good field that she beat, including the runner-up. This is a field that we need to keep our eyes on moving forward, particularly when we look at this Breeders' Crown coming back to Hoosier Park here later next month. Blue Pacific now 2 for 3. This was a powerhouse breakout performance.
Gabe, thank you. Wins it 5-2, 1-6-8-4, and with this performance, potentially a lot more to give from her.
Yeah, I would think you're looking at now potentially Breeders' Crown next month from her. As she's feeling good and she's feeling right, and it's being held at the track that she just blew the field out on.
Joe Holloway, David Miller, 3 for David Miller on the bike tonight, and potentially more to come. It's Blue Pacific and the Kentuckiana Stallion Management 1 mile pace. We'll be back.
We are athletes. We are drivers. We are caretakers. We are owners. We are trainers. We are fans. We are harness racing.
The world's greatest standard bred yearling sale, by every measure, is Lexington Selected. It's the sale that shattered 16 industry records last year, and one that annually produces racehorses that go on to dominate the sports championship event.
At 50-1, Cool Papa Bell.
Make plans now to join us this fall, and let the Lexington experience lead to your racing success.
Back with you on our FS2 coverage from Hoosier Park and Caesars Trotting Classic Night. Over $1.4 million in purses on the line. We just saw Blue Pacific take the Kentuckiana Stallion Management 1 mile pace. Let's go to Jessica.
Blue Pacific sets a track record for the 2-year-old pacing filly. Joining me now is trainer Joe Holloway. Joe, talk a little bit about this filly because she had a little bit of time off in between those qualifiers before heading up to the Meadowlands to race a few times.
She had bucked a shin and she was lame, and it took quite some time. I was hoping to get her back and put a little money on her card, and when she finally got sound, she's exceeded my expectations, and she's quite a nice filly.
She is a really nice filly. I remember talking to you back in Jersey before the New Jersey Classic final, and you were pretty confident with her going into that race. She put up a really good fight. She was in a bad spot that night. Tonight, David used her pretty good to get to the front.
Yeah, he said I didn't know how she would like the front, but she responded, and like I said, she's just a sweetheart.
What were you thinking coming down the lane? Timmy's horse is quite no slouch either, and that horse was able to hold on for a second, but your filly just responded.
Yeah, I mean, my filly just did what she had to do, and, I know Jim was a little bit disappointed in his filly, but like Newsroom, Jim's filly probably wasn't at her best tonight, but that's what good horses do. They still get their job done.
They dig in and they get the job done. How special is it to be at Hoosier Park tonight on the same night that there's a race named after Jenna's Beach Boy?
Yeah, I guess I should be in Canada with the She's a Great Lady, but oh well, next year.
Congratulations, Joe.
Thank you.
There you have it. Blue Pacific wins the Kentuckiana Stallion Series management in 1:50-2. Trainer Joe Holloway, and it was a track record. We'll send it back to you guys.
Thank you, Jessica. Track record and gear down in here in the stretch.
And by open lanes. So it was a perfect storm and a perfect combination for Blue Pacific, and they gave her the time to get herself well, and boy, she's looked good in her last 2 starts.
So Hall of Famer Joe Holloway, David Miller, team up for the victory. Here in this 9th, we're going to get into, again, one that Joe Holloway trained in his Hall of Fame career. Jenna's Beach Boy, named after that great. That is next. 1 mile pace for 3-year-old colts and geldings to come. We'll be back with more live coverage from Anderson, Indiana, right after this.
Ever dream of owning your own racehorse? How would you like to get in the winner's circle with the #1 harness racing partnership in the U.S., VIP Stable? There's nothing like the thrill of your horse coming down the stretch. To find out more, call VIP Stable at 877-VIP-WIN1 or visit us on the web at www.vipstable.com. Turning horse racing fans into racehorse owners. Be a winner.
Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program in Oxford, New York was created in 2018 by Wanda Palacini to provide training to transition for finding homes and new careers for horses. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before moving on. Horses at Purple Haze are then evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you're looking for a great pleasure horse, contact Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program at 518-669-2715.
Some of the top horses in the sport are born and raised in Pennsylvania.
It's really the world capital of standardbred breeding. Breeders from other states locate in Pennsylvania.
It's not a hard sell. I mean, we have a whole mess of clients that send us horses to take advantage of the program. The racing opportunities have been, continue to be, and into the future are very strong here. This is where the top stallions are. A lot of the top mares are here in Pennsylvania. It's perfect.
And it's Jenna's Beach Boy with a length and a half lead. Riyadh second, and Riyadh angles to the outside or the far outside. Campbell trying to get into it. Would stand forever in deep stretch. Jenna's Beach Boy and Faye trying to hold
incredible. Jenna's Beach Boy, the first pacer to win 3 Breeders' Crowns, was the fastest standard bred of the year at 3 and at 4, and then incredible again in that 1996 campaign.
Yeah, when you think about what this horse overcame, and I'm talking about not one, but 2 separate P1 fracture injuries, one in the right hind leg, end of his 2-year-old season, and then the same injury in his opposite leg. I mean, what are the chances? And then he still went on to do what he did, healing from those injuries, that record, 30 for 42. And, I mean, he was just a star on the track.
Again, trained by Hall of Famer Joe Holloway, who we just saw win the last race. And the Jenna's Beach Boy is coming up next on this big night of action. Again, $1.4 million on the line tonight. 1 mile pace in the Jenna's Beach Boy. And one of the contenders, several in here, but Christchurch, 8 to 5 morning line.
Yeah, Christchurch is my guy. I was all in on him going into the Meadowlands pace. And, you know, despite the fact that he just didn't do all the running, I still feel like he's such a cool horse and the talent's there, and he's getting away from a horse like Confederate. And we all know how good Confederate is. I think this is a good landing spot for him tonight to get started again in a winning way.
Yeah, Confederate unanimous #1 in the season's Hamiltonian Society Breeders' Crown poll, became the fastest 3-year-old pacer in history with that Kentucky Sire Stakes Championship Series win at the Red Miles. The one went by a cool moment. Here is the big favorite, Christchurch.
Yeah, you know, and he's run against horses like 7 Colors and Hungry Angel Boy, who ran in the Little Brown Jug we saw yesterday. This is a lot easier spot tonight.
Coach Stefanos beat at odds on, parked wide last time out.
Yeah, it's a nice matchup, though, with him in Christchurch, and why not now in here if he runs well?
Irv Miller with Kyle Wilfong driving, J.B. Graham.
Was 3rd in the Hoosier Cup and made that last move in there from the 3rd over spot, ran on late. Make some noise if it gets hot and heavy in here with the pace for sure.
Why not now, 13 to 1?
You know what? I thought his Hoosier Cup was a better race than it looks because he made that first overrun into that fast pace and still held off the closers outside of him. So it was a well-needed win after a handful of 2nd and 3rds.
7-time winner Buzzsaw Russ went by, actually right here. Oh, no, we're up to the 8 now. Frankie went by Gung Ho, tackling a lot tougher.
Yeah, he's got to step up. That was a non-winner's of 6,500, so this is a lot tougher tonight.
In outside post strength from above, going to have to try and force the hand to get to the front?
Yeah, I probably think it's going to be like the same thing last time. He cut the pace that time from the rail in the Hoosier Cup and still ran on in the end. He didn't completely fold up. The post isn't that great here tonight, so I wonder if they're going to run and gun from that outside post with the speed he has.
Favorite, though, 4 to 5, and just I'm facing a world better quality than what he's dealing with tonight.
Yeah, this is a lot easier company. I think it's a very good landing spot for him as well to come back off that qualifier. And the qualifier, I mean, he went in 149 and 1 in there, finished up in 26 and 1. So he had a good, nice, quiet qualifier, a good return to the races, has a nice inside draw here as well. So there's options there. And I wouldn't expect him, if he's not on the lead, he's going to be probably 2nd and making that first move to get to the top.
That's Christchurch. We're talking about the 2, 4 to 5 right now in this Jenna's Beach Boy mile pace coming up as we look at a cool moment. 7 to 1 on the board. Let's head back to Hoosier Park with Jessica and Gabe.
You know, I agree with you guys on Christchurch, and I think Gabe does as well. Gabe, we've watched this colt over the last season be a little bit unmanageable, but I think Nancy finally has him rigged to the point where he can be more manageable on the racetrack. We saw that in the Meadowlands Pace elimination. Come up a little tired in the final, but he's such a strong colt. I think he'll appreciate this track.
Yeah, that was just killer company that he's been in against. All of his losses this year, Jess, all 5 losses except for 1, were against Confederate. That's the #1 rated standardbred in North America. So Christchurch has been in very deep water. This is a Grand Circuit stake here with a good 6-figure purse, but 6 of the 9 horses are Indiana sired colts. So really, there are a lot of state breds here. Christchurch has been taking on some of the very best colts in North America. So in reality, this is a huge dip in class for him. I actually did get a chance to take a look at him out of the track warming up about an hour ago. I thought he looked impeccable out there. He comes off a good qualifying event. So I think Christchurch just really towers above this field. I'm actually a little surprised that he's 6 to 5. I expect him to go a little less here. I think he'll be odds on.
You know, and they added Lasix back in the cane pace on Hamiltonian Day. And again, it was some pretty quick factions on the front end. Another loss against Confederate who come from off the pace. But I think the Lasix has really helped this colt, you know, just help him at the end of the mile because he is a colt that does like to be, you know, in the action early.
Hey, there's no question about it. And as you mentioned, those fractions, I mean, those were punishing. They were half and 53 and change, nearly thoroughbred type fractions there in that point of the hemp. And this horse was on the business end of those fractions. He actually was on the front end doing all that heavy lifting. So, I just think there's not going to be anywhere near that tempo tonight. I think it's going to be a much more sensible pace. I think he's going to get a lot of respect here. Yannick Gingras is going to be aggressive with the bike. So I just think he is very well spotted again in this spot. I just think he is, several notches above some of the Indiana-based colts here in this event.
I do too. And speaking of the Indiana-based colts, I think this is going to be a real test for a lot of them because, the Breeders' Crown is held here. So that does give them a chance to maybe try and step up against the big dogs. And we both used a few Indiana horses underneath in our business. The 5 Why Not Now is coming off of a big win, I thought, in that Hoosier Cup post 7. Left, sat, and just paced home in 26-3, pacing his mile in 150-1. He's had a really good season, 5 of 11 this year after being winless from 9 last year. And hey, you said that post 5 was a really high percentage winning spot here. You're getting 8-1 on it.
Yeah, not only is he 5-11, Jesse, he's been on the board all 11. So this horse has been a model of consistency. And I certainly don't want to discount the Indiana Colts because they do have a tough program here, top to bottom. So there are some talented colts. It's really just more speaking to the talent of Christ Church.
Right.
Again, he's just one of the very top colts in North America. So this is a very good program. Why Not Now? I think probably at this point, one of the top colts here in the state of Indiana. As you said, a perfect post here. He's got tactical speed. If driver Dwayne Miller opts to use it, and already well over 200,000 this year in those 11 starts. But he's got his hands full tonight, of course, with the big favorite shipping it in Christ Church.
Irv Miller and Trace Cedric will team up here on the 3, and you're getting a 5-1 price on him. He finished second behind Why Not Now last time out. He's 5 of 9 this season, 6 of 11 from last year. This guy seems to be pretty versatile. I mean, he's done it on the front end. He's come from well off the pace. It just looks like the trip, just had too far to come last time out.
Yeah, he did. And keep in mind, he actually went off as the 4-5 favorite last time against the 5 Why Not Now. We're speaking of the 3 Coach Stefanos. Those two have really traded punches all season long. We talked about the 5 has made over 200,000. Well, Coach Stefanos here, another Indiana-based starter. He's had 9 starts. He's been first or second, 8 of 9. He's already been over 261,000 at the age of 3. That's after nearly $250,000 at the age of 2. So the 3 Coach Stefanos here, well over $500,000, Jess, and he hasn't left the state of Indiana.
And a cool moment is a guy that you're pretty familiar with, racing down in Lexington at the Red Mile. He was 4th against Confederate last time out, having to do some work on the outside, and he paced home at 25-3 to finish 2 lengths off of Confederate in there.
Well, I think you have to respect his credentials. No, he's just sort of Captain Treacherous, and again, taking on Confederate. He exits that $400,000 Kentucky Championship down at the Red Mile. He was beating just 2.5 lengths. Now, keep in mind, though, Jess, Confederate was completely geared down. He could have won that race by as many as he wanted to. So the margin a little deceptive, but he has been keeping somewhat close.
Gabe and I are both with Christ Church. We'll send it back to Paul and Greg.
Jessica, Gabe, thank you. It looks like the public is as well. 4-5 of the 2. Christ Church getting away from the top runner in the country, 3-year-old pacer Confederate. A lot easier company here. We'll see if he can get the job done, pick up the 6th win of his career. Let's go to Michael Chamberlain for the call.
Rolling for race 10. 4-5 on Christ Church. 9-2. Why Not Now? Here they come. They are up. And Why Not Now is right out for the lead. Christ Church at the inside. Frankie is next 3rd. After that, A Cool Moment. Then 2 lengths back to Coach Stefanos with J.B. Graham, Buzzsaw Russ. And next comes Gung Ho. And at the back end, Strength from Above. They hit the opening quarter in 25-2. Very fast opening frame there. And moving on the backstretch, Christ Church is up for the lead. Christ Church has it now on the backstretch. 2nd is Why Not Now. Frankie is 3rd. After that comes A Cool Moment. 2 lengths to Coach Stefanos. J.B. Graham, then Buzzsaw Russ with Strength from Above and Gung Ho. Coming to the half-mile mark, Christ Church is the leader, passing the half in 53-3, 28-1 the second quarter. Christ Church in front to length, Why Not Now in the pocket second as A Cool Moment advances on the outside. Frankie 2 lengths back to Coach Stefanos, who's trying to rally wide. Then J.B. Graham with Buzzsaw Russ to the outside of Strength from Above. Gung Ho is last as they approach the top of the stretch. Christchurch the leader. Why Not Now is second, and then A Cool Moment third. 3/4 up, 121. Christchurch is in front. Why Not Now is second. And trying to close in, Coach Stefanos. Buzzsaw Russ on the far outside. Down toward the inside is Frankie. Why Not Now takes the lead. Coach Stefanos dropping down to the inside of that. It's Why Not Now. Coach Stefanos trying to rally past to the inside. Why Not Now? And Coach Stefanos, Why Not Now, wins the Jenna's Beach Boy. Second was Coach Stefanos. It is a photo for third, 148-2.
Why Not Now with the victory, 6th win of this 3-year-old's career. Not today for Christchurch.
Yeah, you know what? The quarter was pretty quick. They went 25-4, and Christchurch went to the top. Yannick tried to kind of, I think, rein him in a little bit there, but you could see he was a little strong on the front end, and he got a little tired. But the winner here, Why Not Now, 148-2. That final time is a new lifetime mark for this horse. It backs up the Hoosier Cup win. Sat that pocket, drifted a little bit in the lane, but still had enough to hold off Coach Stefanos.
So Why Not Now, Gabe, at 7-2 with the upset score here in this Jenna's Beach Boy.
Yeah, but this guy's the Indiana Colts said not so fast. The Invader Christchurch, this is our house. This is our turf. But, guys, pace makes the race, as Paul just alluded to. 25 and change out of there, 53-3. Just a ridiculous clip here. 3/4, 121. So it was sort of just too much too soon, so to speak, for Christchurch. He flattened out, as you may expect, down the stretch because, you can't tee these Colts up behind him with those nice drafting-type trips and expect to have anything left off those type of fractions. So hats off to a couple of very nice Colts that have been seeing a lot of each other here in the state of Indiana. Maybe the state's top 2 3-year-olds, the 5 Why Not Now, at a close one here over the 3, Coach Stefanos.
Couple of Hoosier State locals here at Hoosier Park, 1-2 in this Jenna's Beach Boy. Well, the prices in a moment. We head to Charlestown. This race happened just a few moments ago in Cider House Way, the 4. Heavy favorite in the 6th. Let's go to Paul Espinosa Jr.
Scared M goes in. They're in the gate. And they're off. A tangled beginning for Lieutenant Brown, and he's off last. It was a good start for Bob Zapper, who heads directly out to the front from the far outside. Scared M is up close. I'm the money man up close as well, with Summoning Dennis racing in between horses. Chase and Jonathan saves ground at the fence from 5th. And then comes Cider House Way. He's back in 6th in front of O. Rigsby. And the slow-starting Lieutenant Brown is at the back of the pack at about a dozen lengths off of the front-running duo Bop Zapper and I'm the Money Man. Much closer tonight, up within a neck of the lead through an opening quarter in 24-1. These top 2 have opened up by 3.5 on Chase and Jonathan, who rides the rail up into 3rd. And then comes Summoning Dennis in 4th. He's joined outside by Scared M and Cider House Way, and then a gap of about 8 to the trailing 2, Rigsby and Lieutenant Brown, as they head up the backstretch. And so I'm the Money Man now puts a head in front of Bop Zapper with 3 furlongs to go. Chase and Jonathan sent along, given a left-handed reminder, and Summoning Dennis moves up outside of him. Those 2 move as a team as I'm the Money Man takes over, opening half in 48-3. And on the outside, Summoning Dennis comes up to challenge I'm the Money Man. Chase and Jonathan trying to keep up, and now Cider House Way swings into action with 3/16 to go. Still 3.5 lengths away from I'm the Money Man and Summoning Dennis, who turn for home together. Outside Cider House Way with Chase and Jonathan 4th. They're inside the final furlong, and I'm the Money Man kicks back on. He has another gear. He opens back up by 2, now by 3. I'm the Money Man does it by 4 from Summoning Dennis, and then O. Rigsby, who rallied from the back to get 3rd, and Cider House Way checks in 4th.
Even money favorite defeated here. Really no run from Cider House Way. It's I'm the Money Man coming into this race. Is 1 for 10 lifetime. Gets the victory.
Yeah, change of tactics, too. Arroyo put him right on the front end. And that turned out to be the winning move in this race. And got bet down, too.
Yeah, it goes off at 2-1 in here. From a 9-2 morning line, 7-5-1-4. As we head back to Hoosier Park, Why Not Now? The victory here and back-to-back wins now for this 3-year-old.
Yeah, and I know that Gabe had alluded to it. These Indiana breds, they go through a tough series when you think about it. They run for 2 months and battle each other, 7 legs of the Sire Stakes Series, and most of them compete in pretty much all of them. And in this horse's case, I mean, last week, the Hoosier Cup, or last start, excuse me, the Hoosier Cup was a very big deal and a good race, and basically made the same move this time. Yielded to Christchurch, made that first move into that very fast pace, and was able to hold off the closers.
Coach Stefanos had this one's number, but now the last 2 starts, Why Not Now, has turned it around.
Yeah, for sure. And, Coach did what Coach does, and that was come from off the pace, make one good run. And this time dove to the inside instead of heading outside, so thinking maybe he had a little bit more of a shot and a little bit more momentum inside. But Why Not Now just carried the speed the rest of the way.
So Jenna's Beach Boy goes to Why Not Now, and a 1-2 finish for Indiana sired runners in this race. The Phil Langley Memorial, that is coming up next. 1 mile trot. Next race on the card with a $100,000 purse, and it's once in a lifetime. Hasn't been coming home all that quick. What do you make of his chances as the favorite?
When you look at once in a lifetime, he may win. He might be the most talented horse in the field on paper, but visually, I did not like what I saw last time in the last few races. And I know that he's not facing the likes of horses like Up Your Day or French Wine, but I just feel he's going to be betting here, and he's going to be a little bit vulnerable coming from off the pace.
Well, right now, even money. Tim Tetrick for trainer Jim Campbell, and Help First Edition taking some play next towards 7-2.
That's who I like in here, too. The second-itis bugs kind of bit this horse in his last handful of starts. But you know what, though? He's always a factor late in races, and with the right setup, he might be able to break that streak tonight against this group.
Let's head back live to Hoosier Park and Jessica for more.
Thanks so much, guys. Why Not Now takes a Jenna's Beach Boy in 148-2, standing by with winning driver LaWayne Miller. LaWayne, this guy's been such a solid colt all season long, hasn't missed the board. Just talk about his progression over the season.
Yeah, he's been real good all along, and he's always just seemed like he always had to do the work, and tonight he got the trip.
He did get the trip behind Christchurch. We were talking a little bit before the race how Christchurch really likes to take things into control. You had to be liking where you were sitting in the pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just worried about getting out. He was loaded coming around the last turn, and luckily I got through.
You think him being able to do it from off the pace a little bit, and Christchurch setting some hot fractions, he was able to pace home strongly. Was he, fighting off that horse to the inside of him?
Yeah, mid-stretch, I got a little worried because he kind of got loose on me a little bit. And but when Trace come beside me, he kind of took a back hold and went on.
Nice job.
Thank you.
There you have it. Why Not Now takes the Jenna's Beach Boy in 148-2. Back to you guys.
All right, Jessica, thank you. We're going to move on again. Langley Memorial, that is coming up next in this 1 mile trot. And our 2 big main events still to come, including one of them featuring last year's Little Brown Jug winner.
Yeah, a lot of good action still to come, a lot of good money on the line, and a lot of great racing still to go.
All right, so we'll get into that all coming up. More on the way as well. From Charlestown, we're going to have a preview of a couple of big races as well at Parks tomorrow. Those final 2 grade 1s for exclusive 3-year-old filly divisions still ahead. We're going to have Saudi Crown in action, which will preview his chances. And Pretty Mischievous with likely a championship on the line in the cotillion. We'll be back.
A Grade 1 winner on both dirt and turf, War of Will became a classic winner with this victory in the Preakness Stakes. He added turf credentials to his resume with a determined victory in the Grade 1 Maker's Mark Mile. Now his progeny are bringing top dollar in the sales ring.
$650,000, $380,000, $320,000.
A dual surface classic winning son of Warfront, War of Will, standing at Claiborne Farm.
When it comes to horse racing, you can never have too much information. With Twin Spires, you can place your bets with confidence. Whether you use handicapping insights, like our Brisnet speed ratings, prime power and past performances, the guidance of our experts' top picks, or just choose a name that catches your eye. Yes! No matter how you pick your horse, bet with Twin Spires. Start earning your $200 sign-up bonus when you sign up with offer code GET200.
Back with you on our special coverage tonight from Hoosier Park on Caesars Trotting Classic Night. It's brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Phil Langley Memorial is next from Hoosier Park. Let's go to Gabe for more.
Thanks so much, Greg. And with a gentleman here, 30-year-old Jay Hochstetler, who's about to have a big say, hopefully, these next couple of events. Jay, you've got Ponda Jet here, the upcoming Phil Langley Memorial, post 9. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants post 9, but he's a really gritty horse. He's got good gate speed, and it's first time Lasix, so I'm pretty intrigued to see how he does here.
And when you have an outside post, does that sort of force your hand with a horse that has early speed?
Yeah, I would say so, and he's always been a forwardly placed horse. It's just kind of his attitude. He doesn't really like to be wrangled off the gate, so, you know, assuming he's got a shot to get out of there without everybody else leaving, he should be poorly placed, I would bet.
All right, we'll take us back to the 12th race now, the Hoosier Park Pacing Derby. We're going to go back in time. The last time we had a national broadcast here with you guys, of course, the Dan Patch was a feature. You won it with Ponda Warrior. You know, have you came down from Cloud 9 yet off that win?
Yeah, we partied pretty hard after that, and it lasted a while. But, yeah, we've moved on to the next chapter, and I hope we can write a new one tonight.
10-1 in the morning line. You're ready to pull off another upset with this guy.
I think he's got a shot. You know, it's a good post, and if things work out his way and he gets a good seam in the stretch, they'll call his name.
Yeah, he's not been worse than second. 5 starts this season. No, when some of these outsiders ship in for the big races here in Indiana, they get a lot of attention. But you guys just finished 1-2, the Jettis Beach Boy. You're pretty good here defending home turf as well.
Yeah, us Hoosiers are a little quicker than people think we are, and this track is no joke. You know, these miles are legit, and our horses are legit.
All right, Jay, how many horses do you have at the barn total?
22 horses at the moment.
22, and a couple of the superstars coming up here next in races 11 and 12.
Yeah, that makes the job a lot easier.
We'll let you get back to it. Good luck, Jay Hochstetler. Get easy at post 9 here, Ponda Jet, the Phil Langley Memorial.
Gabe, thank you. So Ponda Jet coming up, and then we're going to see that Dan Patch winner, Ponda Warrior, who co-owns the fastest mile we've seen at this Hoosier Oval this year.
Yeah, I love Ponda Warrior a lot tonight. I just think, like they said in the piece just there, that he's going to get the perfect post, the perfect trip, and going to get a seam, and they're going to call his name late. I really like him tonight.
No way we're going to get 10-1 on him, is there?
I hope so. If there is, I'm firing up the account, bud. I'm ready to go on this horse.
We'll see a couple of world champions, Allywag Hanover in that race as well, and then a Little Brown Jug winner from last year by the Missile in that race. That's next. Right now, it's Ponda Jet for Jay Hochstetler, and that's post 9 here. And a horse who was forward last time out and tried to do it on the front end and weakened late as we take a look at Crown.
Yeah, Crown hasn't been facing the strongest field in New York Sire Stakes action. Didn't win against them either, so we'll see what happens with the rail drawer. Should be in play early on.
Tougher company for Wild Bill Kelso tonight.
Yeah, another one who's been racing at various venues in the Sire Stakes here in New York without winning lately.
Lucas Wallen sending out Devilish Hill.
You know, that non-winners of 4 Parimutuel at Yonkers, after that race, he's been facing a lot tougher. He hasn't done much running. He did finish 3rd, though, behind Crown in that Beal Conso.
One who ran in the Hamiltonian this year, Point of Perfect.
Yeah, Point of Perfect left for position last time out. Kind of got pocketed up before he faded in the stretch in that Sire Series final in Kentucky. I don't think that Hambo race was bad either when you consider the context of the race as a whole. I feel like he's fast enough to spring an upset here. He's got a good post to do it. I wanted to see him more forward.
Mild favorite, 2-1 right now, once in a lifetime, the 5.
Yeah, we talked about him before. He may win. He might be the most talented horse on the race, but I just wasn't visually enamored at all with his last few races. I know he's facing tougher, but I just feel like he might get beat here tonight.
Maybe by this one. Help First Edition at 5-2.
He's got the second-itis bug in his last handful of starts, but he's always a factor in his races, and with the right setup, he might break that tonight.
Texong Soprano?
Yeah, racing back into form slowly but surely off that 6th scratch and qualifier. He's getting faster at both ends of the mile. I'm going to wait, though, a little longer before I endorse this horse.
5-time winner Brookview Darius for Irv Miller.
Yeah, just dropped back from that inside spot last time out and didn't really run it all late. Another long shot.
His son-in-law, Atlee Bender in the bike. Ponda Jet, we just heard from Jay Hochstetler, the 9.
Yeah, sometimes they like the drivers to be, you know, a passenger instead of a pilot. This horse is that, does have the outside draw, does have speed. It'll be interesting to see what they do from out there.
And that 10 we just saw, Jailhouse Dance, will break from that 2nd tier.
Yeah, only the 4th start of the year for this one. Hasn't been able to hang with some of the bigger names in here, so we'll see what happens trying to get position from that 2nd tier.
Phil Langley Memorial is next. Let's check back in with Gabe and Jessica.
Another full field of 10 here, and this time it's a 3-year-old Colton Gelding Trotters. A pretty competitive field, I thought, Gabe. We're kind of missing a few of the top trotters in the sport, so that makes it even more competitive, and they're kind of coming from everywhere. You land on Point of Perfect in here. He was a winner of the Hambletonian elimination. He's been a little bit up and down since then, though.
You know, he has, Jess, but that's the key. This is a Point of Perfect. He won his Hamble elimination. He went off 9-1 in the Hambletonian, guys. That's the Kentucky Derby of harness racing. He didn't race poorly, as Paul said earlier. He did end up finishing 5th in that Hambletonian final after a tough trip. So, you know, I just think it's a spot where he could bounce back. Nothing really jumped off the page here, and we're getting 7-1 out of Cold here from Post 4 that we know has some ability.
Helped first edition. Post 6, John DeLong, Missy Essig team up here. Back-to-back Post 10s, which trail here at Harris Hoosier Park. 3rd time Lasix tonight. He's been knocking on the door. 5 for 15 this season. Unraced at the age of 2. And if you know me, you know I love 3rd time Lasix.
My goodness, Jess, how good has this guy been? As you said, did not even race at the age of 2. Now he's been on the board 14 of 15 this year. He's made over $200,000. We talk about the Indiana horses that are stabled here, protecting home turf. Well, here's your guy in this race, a 6 Help First Edition. He's been very, very close of late. As Paul said, he's had a little bit of seconditis, but he's been tackling some pretty tough company in there as well. He's had the 2nd tier the last 2 starts, so I think he'll be aided tonight. He's not in post yet here. He's back on the gate. I think that should help him use some of his early speed.
A quick thought on once-in-a-lifetime Teacher Campbell team up here. 5 of 10 this season, just beat in the Pennsylvania Championship at Harris, Philadelphia. This guy also recently added Lasix.
He did. This is his 4th start on Lasix. He does draw a good poster with Post 5. You know, he's been dancing in all of the big dances, just maybe a notch below some of the top colts in North America. He's getting the respect here as the favorite, but he just hasn't been razor sharp of late. Not sure we want to sign up here 2-1 on a horse that may not have his fastball working at the moment.
The Phil Langley Memorial is up next. A full field of 10 3-year-old Colton Gelding Trotters. $100,000 on the line. We'll send it up to track announcer Michael Chamberlain.
Once in a lifetime, 3-1 Help First Edition. Here they come. They are off. On a break right at the start, went once in a lifetime off stride at the start. For the lead is Texong Soprano, and from the outside, Ponda Jet is right there too. Next comes Help First Edition, who is racing 3rd, and then Point of Perfect is after that 4th. Next comes Crown, who's got the 5th spot as they pass the quarter in 26-1. Following Crown is Wild Bill Kelso, then Devilish Hill. Next comes Jailhouse Dance with Brookview Darius, and 5 lengths back to Once in a Lifetime, who trails the field. Continuing up the back stretch and leading the way, that's Ponda Jet there by a length. 2nd is Texong Soprano, Help First Edition next in 3rd. After that is Point of Perfect with Crown 5th at the half in 55 seconds. After Crown comes Wild Bill Kelso, then Devilish Hill. Trying to move through at the inside is Brookview Darius, as the field is now moving on to the far turn. Ponda Jet by a length. Texong Soprano, Help First Edition 3rd. Point of Perfect 4th. Now on the outside is Crown. And after that, the pair of Brookview Darius and Wild Bill Kelso. 3 quarters, 123-4, 28-4 the 3rd quarter for Ponda Jet. Help First Edition on the outside tries to move up. Texong Soprano 3rd at the inside. Point of Perfect next. Then Crown and Wild Bill Kelso. It's Ponda Jet. Help First Edition driving on the outside. Point of Perfect trying to rally up the inside. It is Help First Edition and Ponda Jet. And to the inside, Point of Perfect. The 3 of them come to the finish together, and Help First Edition prevails. It's a photo for 2nd with Point of Perfect and Ponda Jet. Then Devilish Hill in 151-3.
John DeLong driving Help First Edition. Now 6 wins this year from 16 starts.
Yeah, got over that seconditis, was able to get back on the gate. Gabe alluded to that earlier on, and I think that helped. Had a nice trip sitting 3rd. It took a while for any outer flow to develop, and eventually the 6 ended up coming 1st over to run down Ponda Jet, who was game on the front end. And I'll be interested to see if Gabe or Jessica, if one of them can mention about once in a lifetime breaking at the start. That changed the complexion of the race a little bit. I'm just wondering if, because he looked great on track, I'm just wondering if he got a little keyed up coming to the gate. But take nothing away from your winner. That was a nice effort.
It looks like Help First Edition actually went off the favorite late in this race as well. Let's go to Gabe.
Thanks so much, guys. And yes, once in a lifetime with a rare break in stride. We talked about it maybe not being in the best of form, but we really haven't seen him make a break. So I'm not sure what was up with that. His first time here over the racetrack at Hoosier Park, so possibly something to do with that, guys. But the Indiana Colts here, the story of the night, Help First Edition, based locally here right on the grounds. Trainer Melissa Essig. And we talked earlier that his nose was back at the gate tonight. He had been to the second tier those last couple of starts. I think that early position was key. The non-Ponda Jet, we just caught up with Trader Jay Hochstetler a little earlier, but that opening quarter, 26-1, just took a little bit of starch out of him, and it allowed Help First Edition to gut him down late. 4 point of perfect, could only be third best here. He had a nice trip. He was trying to slip through late, but the Indiana-based horses strike again here in the $100,000 Phil Langley Memorial. Help First Edition took that late action to get off here as the very slightest of favorites.
Yeah, another 1-2 finish for Indiana horses in here. Help First Edition, Ponda Jet run 1-2 at 5-2 and 9-2 respectively. 6-9, 4-3 finish here in the Phil Langley Memorial. It's Help First Edition with John DeLong driving. We'll take a timeout. We have the Harrah's Hoosier Park Pacing Derby next.
The world's greatest harness racing returns to Meadowlands Racing and Entertainment on Friday, October 20th. Live racing kicks off at 6:20 p.m. on Friday and Saturday nights. Admission and parking are free. We have a full calendar of events and great dining, so visit playmeadowlands.com for all the info. The track is also open for simulcasting 7 days a week. Plus, check out our FanDuel Sportsbook, where you can legally watch and wager on all sports action. It is the #1 sportsbook in North America. Playmeadowlands.com for details. Must be 21 or older to wager. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
On a perfect day, there is no finer place in all of sports.
Nerves, excitement, and anticipation.
Than beautiful, truly stunning. For the Breeders' Cup World Championships.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back with you on our FS2 coverage of Caesars Trotting Classic Night from Hoosier Park. It's brought to you where you can play all the action at NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Go to NYRABets.com to get signed up and started. Phil Langley Memorial. It goes to Help First Edition. Winds up going off the favorite in here, John DeLong in the bike. We're going to send it back out to Anderson, Indiana right now. Jessica.
Thanks so much. Help First Edition takes the Phil Langley Memorial. New lifetime mark, 151-3. This guy was unraced at the age of 2. Just talk about his progression this year.
Yeah, he was just immature, and I think he got a little sore early, so they just did the right thing, stopped with him, turned him out, and let him grow up. You know, he started in the Now Winners of 2 series at the beginning of the meet and just blossomed into a really nice horse.
And he's been super solid all year long, 5 of 15 on the season. They recently added Lasix. Maybe just talk about the little bit of help that's given him.
Yeah, you know, he's been trotting in 51, 52, and it's been hot. You know, the weather has been a factor. I think, you know, he just got to bleeding a little bit, and now that it's cooled down, it's really helped.
Let's talk about the trip tonight. You got away third. There really wasn't any movement in the outer flow. You got a little bit of a soft third quarter there. You had to come first over, but he seemed really strong all the way to the wire.
Yeah, when Timmy made a break, that foiled my whole plan. So I had to kind of go to plan B, and kind of got lucky. He got in a spot in the first turn, and then he always finishes good. That's his best attribute. You know, he always finishes good, and he really did tonight.
Let's talk about Little Rocket Man, kind of the hometown hero up next in the Hoosier Park Pacing Derby. Post 6 for this guy. I mean, what more can you say about him? He's just so fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, the post doesn't bother me. He's used to it. I don't think he's, in 3 years I've driven him, he's barely started inside, probably the 6 maybe once. You know, so it doesn't bother me. Just going to have to get lucky, try to works out some sort of trip, and, you know, hopefully be there at the end.
Nice job and good luck the rest of the way. There you have it. John DeLong takes the Phil Langley Memorial with Help First Edition in 1:51.3. That's a new lifetime mark. We'll send it back to you guys.
Jessica, thanks. Big effort. John DeLong. Jessica asked about Little Rocket Man. That's how he'll be driving in this Pacing Derby. 50 wins from 90 career starts. Can the Indiana horses keep it going in the Pacing Derby coming up?
They're defending their home turf tonight. They're defending it fierce, too. And it's pretty cool when you see a horse who's 50 for 90 lifetime, right?
Incredible. Yeah, one of the hometown heroes, no question, along with Ponda Warrior for Jay Hochstetler. So we'll see those two battle. A couple of, well, certainly one world champion in there in Allywag Hanover, who's going to be very tough in that spot. And then last year's Little Brown Jug winner in By the Missile.
Yeah, it's a loaded group of horses, and it should be interesting to see them match up, especially with an outside draw for a horse like By the Missile, who is as solid as they come. But we've seen tonight, sometimes the best laid plans, they blow up at the starting gate.
All right, we'll get into that more. Yeah, certainly with the favorite once in a lifetime in this Phil Langley Memorial. That was right off the bat. Things did not go well. Game of Silks, few of us have had winners. I get my first winner a few days ago with Magic Slips, Son of Good Magic. For Marcassi, third start in a restricted maiden special weight at Woodbine on the grass. Forwardly placed on the front end throughout, trying to hang on and get this win. Gate to wire and able to do so. Third time out with a win.
Yes, Saad Savachi put this horse forwardly placed on the front end, and this horse responded here deep in the stretch. Now, come on, were you cheering loudly when this was going off?
I'll be honest, I had so much other things going on, I wasn't even able to watch it, but you know, I love it. To see a horse like this early on, and a horse who can still has a lot of potential. Horse ran very good first time out, went a little bit backward second time out, but now takes a big step forward. We'll see it. I mean, it's only turf so far, and Marcassi in very capable hands. I love to see those Silks wins, too, for Gary Barber.
Yeah.
My charity, we're all running for charities in here. Best Backstretch Employee Service Team, which does such a great job, nonprofit, dedicated to those who take care of our horses and give them medical needs, health care as well. They see 2,500 patients each and every year, so that's where all my proceeds are going to.
Yeah, so let's hope this horse continues on a path of winning.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see. It's been fun to see this in this game. You can get involved as well. Game of Silks, get into ownership a little bit in that virtual world. So take your turn and be part of the action as we get into the feature coming up tonight at Charlestown. 2-year-old fillies, 4.5 furlongs in the Rachel's Turn, $75,000 purse, and a rematch between Mama Marge and then Direct the Cat. Direct the Cat, just freakish performance out of that effort. Won by 11 lengths, but Mama Marge was able to beat her by 3 lengths in the debut.
Yeah, shook off the pressure, kept busy, opened up, looked good doing it. Now coming off that July layoff, does have a series of works that put this horse in play in here. We'll see what happens with that inside draw.
7, Natty Patty, we saw at Saratoga a couple of times this summer.
You know, the 2 starts back actually puts her in play, and she was the favorite when she first debuted here at Belmont, too. And you know, some of those Rudy 2-year-olds, they bet them hard. We'll see what happens on the bull ring first time.
Post parade happened a few moments ago, by the way, so post time's coming up. I like Fun Size. We also saw at Saratoga this summer.
Yeah, Saratoga and Belmont. The best race, I think, was the debut race. Although last time out, even with the maiden special race, did get its highest number. I like Fun Size Candy. Not sure about the horse.
Navy Band did put it all together last time out.
Did, and then if you take a look back, all these horses like Direct the Cat and Mama Marge, they all knocked up on each other, and they came back the race after to win, so they were very productive races.
Mad Swan, Big Price went by, and here's ran out of trainer for Anthony Ferrier.
You know what? The horse that beat her last time out, Carmelina, is a Butch Reed horse, and then the 5th place horse came back to win a turf stake as well from the last race.
Huge performance from this filly last time out, Direct the Cat. So got beat by Mama Marge, start number 2, and then breaks the maiden by 11 lengths with a huge figure on August 10th.
Yeah, and it was funny. Got away from ran out of trainer, Mama Marge, and then after that, won by 11. So got the speed now on the outside, has the right rider too. Rashawn Latchman's not afraid to send a horse to the front end.
The Rachel's Turn feature from Charlestown. Let's go to Paul Espinosa Jr.
Ran out of trainer. And your 6-5 favorite, Direct the Cat to the outside post. Goes in, there the gate. And they're off in the Rachel's Turn. It was a good start for the favorite, Direct the Cat, who races out for the front. Mama Marge is gun from the rail up to challenge her. Mad Swan is there with Ran Out of Trainer, and then I Like Fun Size. Navy Band is next to last, and 7 Natty Patty is at the back of the pack at about 7 lengths off of front-running Direct the Cat, who crosses and clears from her outside post. The odds-on favorite hits the far turn in front. Opening quarter clicked off in 22 and 3, and Direct the Cat spurts away to a 3-length lead. Now make it 4. Direct the Cat on cruise control. Ran Out of Trainer is rallied up into second. Mama Marge sent through at the rail. Navy Band and Mad Swan, but with a furlong to go, Direct the Cat cuts the corner and roars off the turn. Moves away by 7, now by 8, and Direct the Cat is a West Virginia bred monster. She takes them all the way in the Rachel's Turn. Romps by 7. Ran Out of Trainer second. Then Navy Band and Mama Marge, the final time 51 and 4.
Direct the Cat. Now back-to-back performances where she has just blitzed fields. She is pretty good.
Man, she improved greatly with the maiden win. She improved even more here. And as we said in the post-parade, Rashawn Latchman not afraid to send a horse to the front end. And boy, this race was over literally 4 strides out of the gate when this horse actually cleared to the top. And I mean, she didn't even break a sweat. She looked really good in here.
11-length winner last time out. Not even asked for a whole lot in the stretch here. She dominates this group to take the Rachel's Turn.
It's By the Missile. By the Missile on the outside, gets to the front. Closing ground, Nighthawk on the outside. By the Missile. The battle's on for second and third. By the Missile.
What a performance last year in the Little Brown Jug. By the Missile, 77th running of the Little Brown Jug, and the first Ohio Sire Jug winner since 1988. And how about Chris Page, too? Grew up nearby Mount Vernon, Ohio, had dreamed of winning a jug, predicted he would one day. Finally, that moment comes true for him. And he had about 200 friends and family joining him in the winner's circle.
Yeah, that was and it's not a big place. That was a huge gathering in the winner's circle there. And By the Missile, you know, being an Ohio-bred horse and then also having a driver from Ohio on his back, it was a big deal. And you know what? By the Missile's a really good horse.
We're going to see him coming up. Last year's Little Brown Jug winner back in action, 8-5 morning line favorite, 21 for 26 lifetime, 3-5 right now. What does post 9 mean for his chances?
You know, I would think regardless of where his post position is, he was going to be forwardly placed anyway. And you would think by the half, he's already at the top or making that move to the top. So in a race like this, a few of the inside horses don't have speed, the 1, the 2, and the 3. It's a Hullabaloo's probably going to be off the gate. Little Rocket Man had a little bit of a problem last time out from a mid-pack draw. Might be a little bit closer. I think this horse is probably second at worst as they're barreling into that first turn and probably headed to the top.
All right, we're going to take a look at when they met back in early September. By the Missile, Allywag, Hanover, and By the Missile try to do it on the front end. In the end, they're both going to get caught by Tattoo Artist.
Yeah, this wasn't a bad effort by the Missile because if you really think about it, he should have won this race. Really, he cut the fractions in here. The fractions were fast. I mean, they went 26 and 4, 53 and 3, excuse me, and 121 flat. And he was still running on here and got cut down by a really good horse in Tattoo Artist. And as far as Allywag Hanover, Allywag Hanover does what Allywag Hanover does, coming up on the outside, making that late run as well into the race. And Allywag Hanover is no slouch.
Oh, Brett Pelling had said, yeah, for Allywag Hanover, just By the Missile kept kind of backing up into that horse and then struggled to find room a little bit. So we'll see if it's a different outcome today. Meanwhile, Ponda Warrior, Little Rocket Man, in action here.
Yeah, Ponda Warrior, the hometown hero, taking down the Dan Patch at a big number. And I think the big thing for this horse is always how the pace sets up for him, because he's a horse that he always finds good position for himself. And I think that's going to suit him well here, just like we saw with that big rally that he had winning the Dan Patch. So he's a horse that can launch from anywhere, and I think tonight the rail draw is going to help him out immensely.
Terrific post position, yeah. And again, that co-fastest mile, that's Hoosier Oval in 2023 for Ponda Warrior. So we'll see if he can come up with the goods again tonight for Jay Hostetler, and Kyle Wilfong will be in the bike. Meanwhile, we just saw a monster effort from Direct the Cat and the Rachel's Turn out of Charlestown. Back-to-back wins, 11-length winner to break the maiden. This is probably more impressive.
Yeah, this was impressive. And once she cleared off, I mean, she didn't turn a hair or break a sweat in here. And they bet her down. They knew. 4-5, cleared to the top and made it look easy.
8-6, 4-1 finish. Nightcap still to come on the Charlestown card. State Bred Maiden Special Weight. 7/8 of a mile to close things out from West Virginia. But the two main events still to come out at Hoosier Park. Up next, it's this Pacing Derby. And then we'll have the Trotting Classic to come. And we'll see outside of Allywag Hanover and By the Missile. Is it just those two, or do you see anyone else but the potential to spring the upset?
I'm a Ponda Warrior guy tonight. Pick Ponda Warrior on top. I think if anybody's going to spoil the party, it's the Warrior.
We just talked about, yeah, again, that cozy inside post position for Kyle Wilfong. And we heard from John DeLong. We just saw him win the last race. He'll be on Little Rocket Man, another Indiana runner who has won 50 times in his 7-year-old career.
It's just amazing to think about. You can run that many races because you're running, you know, maybe 30 times, 40 times a year, and you win 50 of your 90 starts. I mean, you have to be that good just to, when you think about all the racing luck you can possibly have in races.
Closing in as well on $1 million in earnings.
Yeah, and doing most of that racing at home, not traveling. So it's something special.
So here's Ponda Warrior, Dan Patch winner from earlier this year.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. I think the biggest thing for him is how the pace sets up. And if he can find a seam down the stretch, he's going to be there. Last week's free-for-all win was as solid as they come. He made that 3-wide run. I think he's the price you'd want in here.
Biggest price on the board, another Indiana runner, Rock Shining Star.
2 for 17 this year. Failed as the favorite in that non-winners of 11-5 for Lifetime.
Lou's Pearlman, Ron Burke trains.
No, Lou doesn't have much speed, early speed these days, so I think he's going to drop back and try to make one run. He's been a long shot against some really good horses, though, in the Canadian Pacing Derby and the U-Word.
A world champion in Allywag Hanover. By the Missile beat him last time out.
You know, his race at the Sam McKee Memorial was super. He followed that up with an invitational win. The Canadian Pacing Derby final was okay. He just can't get away from By the Missile. He's got the post advantage tonight, though.
Hullabaloo, 21 wins in his career, closing in on $1 million in earnings.
Yeah, long shot in the last 2 against several in here. That's going to continue tonight.
Can John DeLong drive 2 back-to-back to the winner's circle? Little Rocket Man.
Got the worst of it last time out. He was far out of it early, and he was in the outer flow for most of that race. The race before in the Open was fine, though. He's got to make up some ground, though, I think, on some of the bigger names in here to win it.
Back-to-back runner-up finishes for I Like Me Better.
You know, he should have won that last race, but he just didn't. I think he's a long shot. He's 2 for 11 tonight.
Tarazi, Dexter Dunn in the bike.
You know, if you like Dexter Dunn at 23-1, this might be your horse. I feel so bad for this horse, too, because this poor horse can't catch a break when they draw races. He's like the worst drawing horse ever, and the shame of it is he's not that bad of a horse, and he's got some talent.
Little Brown Jug winner from last year, By the Missile with Yannick Gingras on the bike.
Yeah, 7 for 9 this year, multiple stakes wins. He should have won that Canadian Pacing Derby, too, in my opinion. He's the horse to beat here. He's got an outside post. Shouldn't bother him. Never bothered him before. I think he's going to make the top by the half. I just think he's just going to get beat by Ponda Warrior on the square tonight. But listen, 3-5, he's the horse to beat.
And from the second tier, you saw Billy Clyde there on the outside.
Yeah, you know what? He's stepping way back up the ladder tonight. He's going to be a big price against this group. He's second off the qualifier, and he has 6 scratch, too.
So 3-5, is that warranted here on By the Missile?
Yeah, I mean, on paper, he is the best horse in the race. He's won the best races this year. He's been competitive in a lot of those races as well. I mean, 3 to 5, a little short for me, for my liking. That's why I'm going with Ponda Warrior, because I just think he figures from that spot, and maybe the outside post and over the track for By the Missile. You know, we've seen some strange things happen, but make no mistake about it, he is the horse to beat.
Hoosier Park Pacing Derby coming up. By the Missile, last year's Little Brown Jug winner, the odds-on favorite as we go to Gabe and Jessica.
Gabe and I are both on By the Missile, I think, even though he is odds-on favorite. Deservingly so. He's 7 of 9 this season, Gabe. And even last year, this is the story of this guy. He started in a non-winners of 2, made his way all the way to the Little Brown Jug winner's circle. He won an elimination of the Breeders' Crown. He's taken his connections on Such the Ride. And he just got beat last 2 starts ago in the Canadian Pacing Derby. He was so strong in the Yonkers, over at the Yonkers in that Invitational. Couldn't have looked any better. At an added distance as well.
Yeah, but the one thing I'll say, Jess, he got away with a very moderate pace scenario over there at Yonkers. My only concern tonight from post nod, how much is he going to be taxed to make the lead? Every single one of us here on the property, in the building, and likely watching the broadcast, we all know By the Missile is going to be absolutely full tilt blasting off the wings. The question is how many horses are going to leave inside of him. That's going to determine how hard he is used to make the front. If he gets away with a quarter, maybe 26 and 3, 26 and 4, not so bad. If he starts going to the sub 26 category, that could be an awfully quick toll. He's going to have to really be on top of his game to go all the way.
Do you think he's a horse that's capable as well? If he has a few that leave underneath of him and there's a spot in the first turn, you think Yannick would take the opportunity to kind of duck and maybe make a backside brush?
Yeah, I think his game plan would like to go on to the lead, but if there is a couple horses that really push off inside of him, maybe he takes a brief duck and looks to roll to the lead, maybe across the back stretch. At some point when the dust settles, we know By the Missile is going to be on the lead. He's one of 3 in here, Jess, for the sport's all-time leading trader, Ron Burke. He has over 14,000 career wins, over $300 million in purse money. Just unbelievable numbers for a sports leading trader. By the Missile headlines that trio. Of course, he was last year's Little Brown Jug winner, as the guys mentioned. He's also got the 2021 Little Brown Jug winner here, the 3 Luz Pearlman. So a couple of stablemates inside of By the Missile. But yes, I think when the dust settles at some point, he'll be on top.
Speaking of the dust settling, Ponda Warrior won the Dan Patch from post 11, come from flying out of the clouds, 25 and 4 at the end of that mile. He's 3 of 5 on the season with a couple of second place finishes there, coming off of a very solid win in the free-for-all pace here at Hoosier Park. Home court advantage here a little bit, because sometimes when these horses come from out of town, they don't realize how long this stretch really is.
Yeah, it really is a different track. It's a unique track. It's a unique surface here at Hoosier Park. So I think the locally based horses do have an advantage. Jay Hochstetter, we caught up with him a little bit earlier. I still don't think he's really digested that Dan Patch win. He was still speechless almost. Ponda Warrior, a little bit pace dependent. He's a sort that likes to set off the early pace. He likes to track, stalk, so to speak. So I think he's going to get out of there enough from post 1, gets away somewhere 5th or 6th. He's one that's going to need that lively tempo so he can pick off some of the pacemakers late.
Allywag Hanover post for 3 to 1. He's been just a little bit disappointing, I guess, as of late, but he's still putting up some pretty solid miles. He did have that setback earlier on in the season, but he's coming into the race in pretty good form.
Well, remember last season he was on the board all 13, and many of those 13 starts he chased around Bulldog Hanover, who was the sports superstar last year. He actually upset Bulldog Hanover in that world record try in the All-Rise at Lexington last year. So, yeah, maybe Jesse hasn't come back quite as good this year in his 6-year-old campaign, but he's made $264,000, so it's hard to ever discount Allywag Hanover's chances. He's up there right now 3 to 1, but he will need to set things up a bit. Again, the key question is this the same Allywag Hanover we all remember from last year?
Hopefully it will be. We have to send it back to the desk as the Hoosier Park Pacing Derby gets set to go. We both like By the Missile, Greg and Paul.
And the public does as well. Gabe, Jessica, thank you. 3 to 5 on last year's Little Brown Jug winner, world champion. Post 9, we'll see if it's an issue. If you're Yannick Gingras, you just say, I'm on the best, put him to the front?
Yeah, you're going to the front here. I mean, at worst, you're sitting second and you brush and crush to the top. But as Gabe pointed out, if he goes sub 26, and as Jessica said, this stretch never ends. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if he has to go fast early.
Hoosier Park Pacing Derby. Let's go to Michael Chamberlain.
Derby turning into line. Best of luck to you with your tickets.
Diamond Creek starting gate is rolling. 3 to 5 By the Missile. 7 to 2 Allywag Hanover. Here they come. They are off. And a good beginning for Allywag Hanover. Also moving up is Hellabaloo, and Little Rocket Man by the Missile is then moved up with Ponda Warrior much closer to the pace tonight, with Luz Pearlman right in behind that. As they go on to the first turn, the leader now is Hellabaloo. Allywag Hanover, a little rank there on the turn, but now is settled in second. Ponda Warrior third. Little Rocket Man is second over and moving up on the outside. After that is Luz Pearlman, who elects to go third over, and By the Missile is also up on the outside. The next two, Rock Shining Star and I Like Me Better, and the trailing two are Tarasi and Billy Clyde. The first quarter was 25-2. They are moving to the half-mile pole. Little Rocket Man now in front, but Luz Pearlman's right alongside the half, 53 seconds. Luz Pearlman at 31-1 has just taken the lead. By the Missile second over on the outside. Little Rocket Man to the inside, then Allywag Hanover races next. The next pair, I Like Me Better and Hellabaloo. Ponda Warrior is to the inside of Tarasi, and the trailing twosome, Billy Clyde and Rock Shining Star, as they move around that second turn. Luz Pearlman By the Missile gliding up on the outside now. Little Rocket Man third through three quarters in 1:20. As they turn for home, it's By the Missile on the outside of Luz Pearlman. Allywag Hanover shifting to the outside. Little Rocket Man to the inside. Ponda Warrior is trying to come through down on the pylons. It is a wide open final eighth of a mile as By the Missile is closing in. Ponda Warrior up the inside. Luz Pearlman trying to pull off a huge upset. Ponda Warrior, and on the outside, Allywag Hanover. Allywag Hanover won it! Allywag Hanover gets the victory over Luz Pearlman with Ponda Warrior. By the Missile there with Little Rocket Man. 1:47.3. That's the fastest mile of the season.
Allywag Hanover world champion turning the tables here on By the Missile, and does it in very fast fashion.
Man, there was so much action in this race from the beginning, and By the Missile took the worst of it, having to be third over going into the first turn. Dipped in for a little bit of a tuck, but boy, and still ran well actually until the mid-stretch marker, but boy, Allywag Hanover got the right timing and got the right drive, and boy, flipped out and ran well late. And can't take nothing away from Luz Pearlman, who ran huge at a big number, and Ponda Warrior had to wait and wait and wait until the second lane opened up on the inside and rallied up for third. But that was a great effort and a nice turnaround and a well-needed win for Allywag Hanover, and a fast time too, 1:47.3.
4-1 on Allywag Hanover, because all that attention, Gabe, going to By the Missile.
You know, it really was, guys. And we talked about post 9 could be the Achilles heel, and that was the case. He had so many horses leaving out inside of him. Yadick just had to duck there briefly and then send him right back on the move. He really didn't have a moment to catch his breath. At the end of the day, he ends up first over there uncovered. So just a terrible trip for By the Missile. And really post 9, just the detriment there. Nothing Yadick Gingras really could have done any differently. Todd McCarthy, on the other hand, with Allywag Hanover, he ends up getting to slide out, followed By the Missile, and he tees off that cover here to score late. It wasn't easy, guys. It's Luz Pearlman, the 2021 Little Brown Jug winner there for the sports leading trader Ron Burke, was dead game in defeat there, 30-1. And Ponda Warrior, sort of one of the fan favorites here at Hoosier Park, just could not get through. He had to wait till that inside lane opened up. He appeared to be loaded behind a wall of horses, but he was able to get up just in time to snatch that third spot. And the other locally based horse here, Little Rocket Man, he rounds out the superfecta in fourth, but a big one, guys, for Allywag Hanover.
Yeah, Gabe, thank you. As we were watching this early on, it looked like trouble for Yadick Gingras By the Missile.
Yeah, I mean, this was a lot more levers than we actually thought were going to leave. And, boy, they mixed it up in here. You can't say there was no action in this race. Everybody went after it.
31-1 shot, as Gabe pointed out. 2021 Little Brown Jug winner Luz Pearlman for a moment looked like he was going to win this race. Winds up second, 4-3-1-6. Allywag Hanover takes the Pacing Derby. Back on our FS2 coverage of Caesars Trotting Classic Night from Hoosier Park. It's brought to you in part by the Standard Bred Breeders Association of Pennsylvania. Allie Wag Hanover, world champion, takes the Hoosier Park Pacing Derby, turning the tables on By the Missile, who had a tough time of things from that far outside post 9 with Yannick Gingras. Todd McCarthy for Brett Pelling, and a big score here.
Yeah, and a nice win for Allie Wag Hanover. Needed this win to get back on track and sets this horse up nicely for next month's Breeders' Crown if they go. And I'm pretty sure Ron Burke wasn't thinking Luz Pearlman was going to be the horse that was going to get the job done or close to get the job done for him. But that was a much improved effort for Lou as well in here. So some big numbers.
Over $2 million now in earnings for Allie Wag Hanover. Let's go to Jessica.
Allie Wag Hanover takes the Hoosier Park Pacing Derby, standing by with winning owner Adam Bowden. Oh, Allie Wag is just so fun to watch. I was talking to a few of the guys off camera. I kind of lost him there. He left the gate aggressively, and then there was plenty of action going up the backside. What were you thinking?
I get a little nervous there. I mean, once he got to the front and then he got covered up by Little Rocket Man, then Luz Pearlman cleared. I was hoping to get out, and he got out behind By the Missile, and then Todd drove a brilliant race, and there he was in the top of the stretch in a perfect spot, and then he delivered.
I think Allie Wag Hanover really likes to weave his way through traffic. I think he likes that target. Fastest mile of the season, 1:47.3 at Hoosier Park. He's just such a cool horse to have, I guess, in your ownership, isn't he?
Yeah, we bought him as a 2-year-old thinking he was going to be a stallion, ended up having to geld him after his 3-year-old season, but he's turned out to be just a fun horse. We have a big partnership associated with him, and congrats to all the partners. He's been awesome the whole time.
He really has been awesome. He had a little bit of a setback there earlier in the season, but he looks like he's back to himself.
Yeah, he got a little late start, and then he had a hiccup in Canada where the horses fell in front of him, and he sliced his leg up and had to have stitches. But Brett's done a fantastic job, and the rest of the team, and now he's back to top form.
Do you know where he goes from here?
Likely Dayton, but it could be Lexington. One of those two spots are next, and then back here for the Breeders' Crown.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Allie Wag Hanover takes the Hoosier Park Pacing Derby, 1:47.3. That's the fastest mile of the season here at Harrah's Hoosier Park.
Well, that's certainly good news. Thank you, Jessica, for connections of Allie Wag Hanover with the Breeders' Crown being here at the end of October.
Yeah, and putting up that fastest mile right now, too. It bodes well, so he'll get a couple of starts in him before he comes back here and goes for the real big money on Breeders' Crown night.
27th career win for Allie Wag Hanover. The main event coming up next. Caesars Trotting Classic, purse of $210,000, and it's Academic second in this race. Last year, behind Bella Bellini, 3-5 favorite.
Yeah, legit, too. Made a nice prolonged run last time out, just couldn't keep it going. Probably the extra distance and the trip dynamics that did it, but was competitive. And you know what? The Maple Leaf Trot was good, too. So got upended late. I think Dave Miller puts him in play early tonight. Gets him up to the front.
It's already been a big night for David Miller. See if he can get his 4th win of the evening coming up. Main event is next. 6th edition of the Caesars Trotting Classic. Still to come when we return with our coverage from Hoosier Park on America's Day of the Races on our FS2 coverage. We'll be back right after this.
The world's greatest harness racing returns to Meadowlands Racing and Entertainment on Friday, October 20th. Live racing kicks off at 6:20 p.m. on Friday and Saturday nights. Admission and parking are free. We have a full calendar of events and great dining, so visit playmeadowlands.com for all the info. The track is also open for simulcasting 7 days a week. Plus, check out our FanDuel Sportsbook, where you can legally watch and wager on all sports action. It is the #1 sportsbook in North America. Playmeadowlands.com for details. Must be 21 or older to wager. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Purple Haze Standard Bred Adoption Program in Oxford, New York was created in 2018 by Wanda Palacini to provide training to transition for finding homes and new careers for horses. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before moving on. Horses at Purple Haze are then evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you're looking for a great pleasure horse, contact Purple Haze Standard Bred Adoption Program at 518-669-2715.
Some of the top horses in the sport are born and raised in Pennsylvania.
It's really the world capital of standardbred breeding. breeders from other states locate in Pennsylvania?
It's not a hard sell. I mean, we have a whole mess of clients that send us horses to take advantage of the program. The racing opportunities have been, continue to be, and into the future are very strong here. This is where the top stallions are. A lot of the top mares are here in Pennsylvania. It's perfect.
We are athletes. We are drivers. We are caretakers. We are owners. We are trainers. We are fans. We are harness racing.
Back with you on our FS2 coverage, America's Day at the Races on Caesars Trotting Classic night. And that is what is next, the main event. That Trotting Classic, race 13 from Hoosier Park. We'll get to that in a moment. We're going back to Charlestown right now for the nightcap on their Friday night card. And a state-bred maiden special weight, 7/8 of a mile, where it really looks like the 3, the 5, and the 8 race goes between those three.
Yeah, and the 3's case, Just Call Me Al, last time out was this horse's best race. Kind of dueled up with the leader, making a run in the turn and down the lane. Kind of was a little bit short in there. I like this horse a little bit tonight, moving inside from post 9 to post 3. And my buddy's Dance, the 5s, my buddy Dwayne, excuse me, puts the blinkers on. If you watch the last race, got to wandering a little bit as a first-time starter, was drifting a little bit too. So I think the blinkers will help that horse.
And he was bet to even money first time out, so obviously that horse had some real ability. Never easy to win going 7 furlongs first time out.
No, and especially 2 turns at Charlestown, too. You got to have a little stamina underneath you, and a good trainer, too, in Jeff Runco. So the first-time blinkers are a good move for him. The second-time starters, though, aren't that great of a move.
Now, All Right Tricks, the 8... hard to see taking that one over Just Call Me Al, but not a lot separated them, but certainly Just Call Me Al finished a lot better.
Yeah, I think in the case of the 8, you just kind of feel like the horse was up there with the pace. The pace was solid early. The half wasn't as solid when you look at some of the times, but Just Call Me Al ran the better race, I think, out of the 2.
Nightcap from Charlestown coming up. State-bred maiden special weight event, 7 furlongs. And Paul Espinosa Jr. with the call.
Just Call Me Al moves in. Half the field is in, half the field to go. My Buddy Dwayne. Just Murphy. And the last one in, All the Right Tricks. They're in the gate. And they're off in the nightcap at Charlestown. My Buddy Dwayne with a good dispatch. He heads out for the early lead. Just Call Me Al is right there too, and All the Right Tricks. So the favorites hook up in the early stages here. All the Right Tricks and My Buddy Dwayne go on with it here. Just Call Me Al will take back into 3rd. Lord Clancy is 4th down at the fence, now joined and passed by Just Murphy. And Great and Good is at the back of the 6-pack as they head into the clubhouse turn. All the Right Tricks from his outside post up to take the lead, and My Buddy Dwayne checked off of his heels, now 2 lengths behind in 2nd. Just Call Me Al racing in 3rd after an opening quarter in 24 and 1. Just Murphy saves ground now. Great and Good moves up to his outside, and Lord Clancy drops out the trail as they head up the backstretch. All the Right Tricks now. My Buddy Dwayne back up to engage, and My Buddy Dwayne retakes the lead with just over 3 furlongs to go. All the Right Tricks has to keep up down at the rail, and Just Call Me Al poised back in 3rd, a length and a half off the leader, as now My Buddy Dwayne takes over. Just Call Me Al up to engage the leader as they head past the quarter pole. All the Right Tricks losing ground in 3rd. And then comes Great and Good, who's made it up into 4th, and now 3rd. Just Murphy is 5th. and Lord Clancy at the back. My Buddy Dwayne on the front end here by a half length as Just Call Me Al turns up the pressure with a furlong left to go. My Buddy Dwayne kicks back away, moves away by 2, now by 3 with a 16th to go. It's My Buddy Dwayne and Arnaldo Boca Chica to take the nightcap by 2.5. Just Call Me Al settles for second, and then came Great and Good and Lord Clancy.
It's a big effort for My Buddy Dwayne. Just the second time out, able to win here at 7/8 of a mile with the blinkers going on. He had a check off of all the right tricks early on in this race.
Yeah, and I think that made him much the best in here when you take into consideration the trouble. He probably could have won by more, but you know something, for a second-time starter and putting the blinkers on and getting in the trouble he did, he probably could have just phoned it in, said, I'm done, down the backside. He did not. Just Call Me Al came calling. He was able to turn that horse away and pull away late in the lane.
Arnaldo Boca Chica for Jeff Runco. Newburn Farm, My Buddy Dwayne, second time out, maiden breaking score as a 6-5 favorite. Our main event coming up next, Caesars Trotting Classic. $210,000 purse coming up, and It's Academic and Venerate. They know each other well. They'll battle again ahead when we come back.
The world's greatest standard bred yearling sale, by every measure, is Lexington Selected. It's the sale that shattered 16 industry records last year, and one that annually produces racehorses that go on to dominate the sports championship event.
At 50-1, Cool Papa Bell.
Make plans now to join us this fall, and let the Lexington experience lead to your racing success.
The future is bright in Ohio. Ohio Sire Stakes, Buckeye Stallion Series, 65 county and independent fairs. Whether it's the Ohio Sire Stakes, the Buckeye Stallion Series, or the County Fair, Ohio has a place for your racehorse. This year, Ohio breds are racing for over $20 million in stakes purses. Be part of the winning. Breed, buy, race, win in Ohio.
Closing on the outside, It's My Show. 7 colors, It's My Show on the outside. 7 colors, It's My Show. It's My Show.
Last night from the Delaware County Fair, It's My Show. Capturing the Little Brown Jug in a furious 149 flat. Linda Toscano a day earlier had captured the Jugette with You Could Do It Hanover with Scott Zeron as well. And this is the one that she wanted so badly that had eluded her. What a moment.
Yeah, this was great for the Toscano partner, for Linda herself, too. It's the one race, as you said, that eluded her, and It's My Show. How this horse went off at 6-1, I will never know. This horse ran so well in the Elim, And it was the easiest of the 3 limbs. And by easiest, I say there was the least amount of action in it. They basically were in straight alignment for most of it. He came first over. He didn't really push hard to get by Cannibal. Still had something in the tank, and boy, did it show. And the money man this year, Scotty Zeron, it's his world. We're living in it when it comes to these races.
Yeah, all 3 of North America's $1 million races. Just incredible, capping off a career year for him. Main event is coming up, the 6th edition of the Caesars Trotting Classic ahead. Venerate, Brian Sears will be in the bike. David Miller on It's Academic. Driving there on the even money favorite. He's already had a big night.
Yeah, he's got a big night. He can add to it tonight by putting this one in his back pocket.
Start off our post parade with Famous Father 38-1.
You know, despite drawing the rail here, it's a tough assignment for a horse who wasn't all that competitive last time out against a non-winners of 5,500 group. So having the rail sometimes is a help. Tonight, I don't think it will be.
One who tried to be forward and do it on the front end last time out, 18-time winner Kildare King.
You know, I like this horse on top at a price. Went to the top in the Hill Memorial, got run down by a good horse in Incommunicado. The horse is better with a helmet to follow, but I think circumstances may dictate he's back on the front end tonight. We'll see what the money man, Scotty Z, does.
Dexter Dunn, driving Pretender.
Big effort in the most recent. Raced in an invite. That was a sharp effort. Broken the Charlie Hill Memorial. He looked more relaxed and strong last time out. If he minds his manners and the good Pretender shows up, he'll be a handful.
Here's Venerate on the anniversary of his 2020 Mohawk Million win.
I'm not going to hold that Yonkers trot against him. It poured like hell that day, if you remember. And, you know, it was off all day, and he was just too far back from a second-tier spot. Couldn't get anything going in there. Trainer Marcus Melander thinks he's coming into this race well.
Trace Tetrick on Adamsville Road.
Facing much lesser company. Recently, this is a big step up.
Take all comers. Jim Campbell trains, has Tim Tetrick.
Made a run of it last time out in the trot over at Yonkers, but came up 3rd best in there. Sometimes the extra distance does the horses in on that track that make those long runs in the outer flow. I feel like this is a harder spot tonight against better horses. I mean, he could be forward in here, so that might help his chances.
Even money favorite, It's Academic, 2nd in this race. Last year, David Miller got beat by Bella Bellini for Ron Burke.
You know what? I think Miller puts him in play early tonight. This horse has a big shot in here.
Rattle My Cage went by. Here's Love by the Masses, the 9.
Didn't really get rolling until late in the Hill Memorial last time out. The start before that wasn't all that good as an odds-on favorite.
And Flagman from that 2nd tier.
2nd tier tonight's a long shot based on the last few against this group.
So we've mentioned they have traded punches this year. It's Academic, Venerate. Let's take a look at the Maple Leaf Trot from early September.
You know, It's Academic was on that clear lead, comfortable splits, and then kind of just got upended late at the end of the day. So, I mean, I don't think it was a bad race when you take a look at it as a whole, but I just didn't like that the horse got upended with such easy splits and a comfortable lead.
You know, Venerate has had, you know, those issues breaking a little bit. Marcus Melander, though, said he is absolutely fine now. He's not concerned with him.
I don't think so, and I don't think you can, like I said, hold the last race too far back. And then in the Maple Leaf Trot, he got rolling. He just jumped it off as he was in mid-stride in his roll.
How impressed were you with this performance, meanwhile, September 15th from Pretender?
You know what? I thought that this was a really big performance for this horse simply because he also jumped it off in the Hill Memorial. So he needed to get back, be relaxed, and he got that kind of a trip in here. With that run that he put in, he was much more relaxed. He was much more strong. He was able to do what he wanted to do, and when he stretched his legs, he leveled off in here, and he ran really well. If he minds his manners tonight, he's right there with this group if the good Pretender shows up.
So you've told us for you it's Kildare King. What does he need to do, the 2, to be successful tonight against this group?
I think Kildare King's in a pretty good position here because he does have the 2-hole, and for a horse like Kildare King, he went to the top last time out in a race where he found himself on top. He cut out those fractions in the Hill Memorial. Incommunicado's a good horse that ran him down. I think he's better in what he showed 2 starts back when he was able to find a helmet. He was able to get that run. He was able to surge up to the top and finish strong. Stretching his legs out on a 7/8 track tonight, going the mile here. And I just think that he'll get a better trip with a nice, cozy inside post. Shouldn't be too far out of it. And if he's good, he'll be rolling late. Is he good enough to beat the good Pretender? Is he good enough to beat It's Academic? I don't know. But we'll see, and I'm willing to take a shot with him at 11-1.
Can It's Academic, the even money favorite, do one better than his runner-up finish in this race last year? Let's go out to Gabe and Jessica.
Thanks so much. The Caesars Trotting Classic is up next, a field of 10. And we're actually going to touch on Kildare King first because he is coming into the race sharp. He just got beat last time out in the Charlie Hill at Scioto Downs. But the driver is the man of the year, Scotty Z. He's won 3 $1 million races. This horse gets a good inside post. If they mix things up, I don't see why this horse couldn't be right with them.
Yeah, he could. I think he's easily going to be able to outfoot a long shot there at the inside of him. And Scott Zarin, how good of a week is he having? We won the Jug out on Wednesday. He won the Little Brown Jug on Thursday, and he didn't go to Disney World, Jess, to celebrate. He's right here with us tonight in the feature, and he does have a big shot aboard Kildare King.
He really does, and like I'd mentioned, he's coming into this race sharp, but so are a handful of other horses just to his outside. Pretender, a few braking issues this year. He was super strong earlier on, 5 for 13. But what I do like is he won an invitational here last time out. So now I know he gets over the Hoosier Park surface, and he knows how long this stretch is.
Yeah, he is a fast horse, and he's a talented horse, but he's just a little erratic for my liking, Jess, especially at a short price. You know, he's up there right now at only 5 to 1, and he's just a tricky horse to drive. Dexter Dunn going to have his hands full here, but he's very fast if he can put it all together.
The two horses that have been kind of being 1-2 in the matchup this year, that's the 4 Venerate and the 7 It's Academic. Both of them coming out of the Yonkers Invitational trot there. Venerate, post 10, a trailing position. Really no chance from there. It's Academic parked every step of the mile to finish 4th. He was 2nd in this race last year. He's really had a breakout through season.
You know, he really has, Jess. And going back to Venerate from post 4, this guy was a $410,000 purchase last fall at an auction at Harrisburg. The Connections actually bought him to be a stallion. They said, you know what, let's try and trade him, see how he does. They liked him so much, they brought him back to the races this year. He's already been over $180,000. He's in there at 7-2 from post 4. As you mentioned, It's Academic. Well, he's a headliner, guys, but is he 4 to 5 type that much better against this company? $1,700 away from $2 million in his career. Not only will he try to avenge his loss last year, he'll try to avenge the runner-up performance last race from Luz Pearlman for driver David Miller and trainer Ron Berg.
The Caesars Trotting Classic is heading behind the gate. Will we see a shootout like we did in the Hoosier Park Pacing Derby? We'll find out. Here's Michael Chamberlain with the call.
Here they come. They are off in the Caesars Trotting Classic. And it's a good beginning for Take All Comers. It's Academic, not wasting any time either. And those two engage right away. Kildare King away 3rd, Pretender is 4th. From the 2nd tier, Flagman has moved up nicely at the inside and is now 5th. Famous Father right behind that 6th. Outside that one comes Venerate, who is caught wide moving through the first turn. Then it's Rattle My Cage, Adamsville Road, and the trailer early on is Loved by the Masses. First quarter mile, 26-2. As they move right along up the back stretch, there goes Pretender, and Dexter Dunn puts Pretender on the lead. It's Academic is now 2nd. Then Take All Comers is racing 3rd. Next, Kildare King. Flagman is to the inside of Venerate, who's still getting a wide trip, as the half is up in 54-2, the second quarter, 28 seconds. Famous Father down on the inside with Rattle My Cage. Then next is Adamsville Road and Loved by the Masses trails. Pretender by a length and a half on the second turn. It's Academic is 2nd. Take All Comers 3rd. Then 2 further lengths, Kildare King. On the outside is Venerate with Flagman. Head of the stretch, headed for home. 3 quarters, 1:22-2. 28-second third quarter. Pretender the leader. It's Academic angles out. Take All Comers down to the inside, and then Kildare King trying to stay on at the inside. Pretender, It's Academic. Take All Comers rallying through at the inside, also trying to come on late. On the inside is Flagman. It is now It's Academic with the lead. Take All Comers, Pretender. It's Academic winning the Caesars Trotting Classic. 2nd was Take All Comers. Loved by the Masses rallied up the inside to get the show spot from Pretender, 150-3.
Unfinished business. It's Academic, runner-up in this race. Last year, this time seals the deal. What a year he's having. 8 wins from 13 starts.
Yeah, and he gets the money here and gets his revenge off of last year. You know, he had a pretty good trip. He swept up to the front and then just kind of was there and running along. But when he got tipped out in the stretch, he ran really well to take over from Pretender. And on the inside, Take All Comers ran a good race there, too. Veneray just didn't have it, was parked every step of the mile, basically, tonight.
Big night for David Miller. And Gabe, it's the 4-5 favorite. It's Academic, continues his strong 2023.
No question, guys. He was as advertised here at 4-5, but the race really developed in his favor as well. Sort of the complete opposite of what we saw in that Hoosier Park pacing number with all that early action. This one, the logical contenders just got out there and rolled along and really dictated the terms, and they end up mostly finishing very close here in the late stages. It's Academic, got a picture-perfect tracking trip here when Pretender moved to the top. He got to follow that one. And how about this, guys? He equals the all-time track record here on the trot at Harris Hoosier Park, 150-3. So a good trip, but he did parlay it into a nice win. Dave Miller in the bike here for trainer Ron Burke. We mentioned that he was the runner-up here in this Caesars Trotting Classic last year, but already 8 wins and 13 tries. Guys, he's now over 748,000 on this season alone.
Thanks, Gabe. Yeah, that's remarkable. That's just this year what he has accomplished. He is just doing everything right.
Yeah, and that put him over the 2 million mark a lifetime as well. So good horses make good money in good races, and he got his revenge here. And as Gabe said, the race just set up perfectly for him.
Ron Burke, David Miller, it's Academic. Runner-up last year, the win this time around. And what a season he is having. Again, 8 wins from 13 starts this year to take the Caesars Trotting Classic.
We are athletes. We are drivers. We are caretakers. We are owners. We are trainers. We are fans. We are harness racing.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back with you on America's Day at the Races, and a big night out at Hoosier Park in their main event. Caesars Trotting Classic goes to It's Academic. 4-win night for David Miller in the bike. Let's go to Jessica.
Thanks so much, guys. It's Academic takes the Caesars Trotting Classic 150-3. That equals the all-time trotting record here at Harris Hoosier Park, standing by with winning driver David Miller. David, this guy has just had such a breakthrough season, hasn't he?
Yes, he really has. He's been just so sharp all season, and race giant tonight.
Let's talk about the trip tonight. He had an outside post. You left aggressively out of there. You were able to get covered up going up the backside, though.
Yeah, I was kind of glad, you know. He got used pretty hard to the quarter, and I was hoping maybe Brian or even Dex, get him covered up and take him a little ways. He's real good off cover.
And then you pocket rocket. This stretch is long, but you waited until you could to pull him, and he just prevailed.
Yeah. He's been dead game all year, and he did it once again.
Nice job.
Thank you.
There you have it. It's Academic takes the Caesars Trotting Classic in 1:50.3. We'll send it back to you guys at the desk.
Huge trot from It's Academic, and you talk about the year this one is putting together. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, and when you think about the races he's been in and the dances he's danced, he's run some really, really solid efforts, and now to put this win in his back pocket bodes well for Breeders' Crown coming up.
What a night, too, for David Miller. Started off with a $57 winner back in race 4. Looked like he was actually beat on a horse who was undefeated, Newsroom, who actually dug down and remains undefeated now, 6 for 6, and now caps it off with this. Still some more work to do, but already a huge evening.
Yeah, big evening, and just to think, man, the mileage that these drivers get. Delaware, Ohio, now in Indiana. They'll head back. Some of them will go back to New Jersey or Pennsylvania to keep racing, so a lot of mileage, but they go where the money is. They go where the racing is.
Well over $2 million in earnings now, too, for It's Academic.
That's a big number, and you know what? He ran to his odds tonight, and it always works out when the race flow is in your favor. Like Dave Miller said, he was able to get some cover, and he was able to flip him out very late, and that helps in a long stretch like Hoosier.
Coverage for our show tomorrow. We have canceled our program because of weather in the area in New York, so we will not have America's Day at the Races on Saturday. We will be back Sunday, 1 Eastern start time, Sunday afternoon, FS2. That's the next time you'll see us. We hope you enjoyed our coverage from Anderson, Indiana. Big night out at Hoosier Park for the Caesars Trotting Classic night, the big one. Going to It's Academic, but Pacing Derby, it was Allywag Hanover, 147.3, fastest mile of the season. Able to beat By the Missile at a tough go of it from post 9, and we just saw It's Academic. Big night for David Miller on the bike. 4-win evening, 150.3 trotting performance. What an effort. We'll see you on Sunday.